Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews podcast number 53.
53?
53!
I'm not quite that old yet.
Let's go. Almost, mate. I'm 40. That's like 13 years away.
We're going to be catching up on the recent films and TV shows we've been watching before we go over the news. In the second part of the podcast, we are going to be celebrating 10 years.
10 years.
10 years of Off the Shelf Reviews on
10
YouTube. And then, of course, in the third part, we will be answering your questions. Now, of course, I do want to introduce a special guest for today's podcast.
Yes.
Jess Montgomery.
It's been a while, boys. Nice to show my face once in a while.
Yeah,
It's awesome to have you on the show,
Oh,
Jess.
it's always a pleasure to step in and, say hello.
So, Jess, this is the part of the podcast where we usually catch up on what we've been watching recently.
Yes.
Have you got anything that you've been watching?
I've not been keeping up with TV shows particularly well. I've watched a little bit of Last of Us, but I'm behind on a lot of the episodes. But it was fun. A Gay Man in a House was the last one I saw. That was all right.
Nice.
You've been watching Last of Us as
Ron,
well, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Last of
Did
Us
you
has
play the
been
game?
absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
Did you play the first one and second one?
I know. I played the first one. I know what happened in the second one. There's a lot of hoo-ha about it, and it wasn't as well reviewed, so I skipped it just because I don't care. Neither one way or the other. It was just like whatever. But yeah, the first game was pretty fun. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
No,
They captured it quite well in the TV series I've seen. I mean, I haven't watched any
Yeah, they've
episodes
reworked a
myself,
few of the
but-
characters, like I forgot his name, Ron Swanson.
Mustache boy. Yeah.
Ron Swanson, who's a bit gay, and
Frank? Is that the character?
Frank's character. Yeah. That's the episode I saw up to, and he was awesome. Great episode. Really
It really was, wasn't it?
Envisions kind of apocalypse, and it's not a zombie film like they've said, the TV show they've said, but I'm like, you can't escape that shadow. It is
kind of close. I've looked into the science of these fucking things. If you're moving
Well, the fungus.
the fungus. Have you seen the ant shit on YouTube? The zombie.
I think everybody has. Everybody
I
has.
already knew of the
videos.
biology because they do it in moths.
Okay, but we've talked many a times about zombies and how infection works, and I would immediately put, cause I've not played Last of Us and I've not seen the TV series because of just waiting for it all to come out. But these things I would definitely say are under the level of being called infected. Yeah, like if we weren't going to call them zombies, we'd initially just say that they're infected. They're like the runners in fucking World War Z.
Well, there's variants.
I was going to say that
variants.
it's a very ropey. It's a very ropey thing because realistically, they're the most real zombie you're getting in the natural world.
But if you look into the science of it, once it infects you and then infects inside your brain, it initially just makes your brain survive on insane instincts of transferring over the virus, which in zombie terms, it's like when they try to eat the flesh because they're trying to obviously just consume.
They climb to the highest level of the branch and spore.
Right, but once that thing breaks through the skull, because like you've seen it in the game where it turns you from like a feral and into a runner, and then it breaks through your skull, and then you can turn into bloaters, and then like spoilers, there's the Rat King thing in fucking the second one because I watched a YouTube video on this whole shit, and it's like spoilers, like how wicked this fucking shit. It's to the point where you're thinking.
Been a while. People should watch it, played it.
Yeah, but you're thinking, fuck, these things, like they're still moving the body. Right?
Yeah.
So the brain is dead, but there's still like
they've
a
taken
likeness
over
of
the
the
nervous
person
system.
inside,
Yeah, they've
trying to kind of force them because you can see it in the faces. So it's like,
It's pretty horrifying.
Is that your new age zombie?
And again, I think it is a pretty cool show, and I will get around to finishing watching it. But I was more interested recently in see how they run and
Nice.
the menu.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I still
Ralph
haven't
finds the
seen
menu
See How
and,
They Run, but we discussed the menu on the last podcast, and Andy and I really enjoyed it.
Ralph
Ralph Fiennes and
fucking what's her
Anna
face?
Taylor-Joy.
Oh,
she's fantastic in it.
Yes.
And
Sorry,
the way
I'm
she just
distracted.
throws down with Fiennes in the finale, and a verbal throwdown. It is.
Yeah.
it's like somebody took a mirror and just made her face. Like it's just.
Perfectly symmetrical.
Like, and then she just appears in these roles, and she fucking hits the roles on the head so well, and elevates the rest of the movie. With, like I said, Ralph Fiennes, fucking Nicholas Holt's in there as well. See How They Run. That's the Sam,
Nicholas Holt was really good
Sam,
in many.
yeah, Sam.
that's the Sam Rockwell movie, right?
Awesome.
Yes,
It's
with
a
the mystery.
detective. His accent's pretty solid. Detective.
It's Sam Rockwell.
Did you see it? You said you
Yeah, I've
watched
seen
it.
it, watched it.
So I watched it with Linda, but like I swear, like 3/4 of the way through, I was really enjoying it, but about 3/4 of the way through it, I just completely zoned out.
Oh.
And then like the end of it, I literally don't remember. Either I completely guessed what the ending was, or I just lost interest in it.
It all comes down to the echo of their agreement over the script, because the
spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either. I want to see it.
No, but it is an echo of a discussion had halfway through the film.
Yeah.
And
so it's well set up and pays off.
I think it pays off, and there's been a lot of clamour for sequels, but no chance of that as far as...
Sam Rockwell's great in it. I bet he's great in fucking everything.
He is, yeah. He's one of my favourite, most underrated actors, I feel.
Yeah, Rockwell. It's just a great film. I recommend both soundly. They
awesome.
Are both solid little flicks to watch. And as far as I can tell so far, Last of Us seems to be a good adaptation. It goes enough on its own road, because I think, as I've always said in the past, you kind of need to go your own way when making an adaptation of something. You need to have some fresh in there, otherwise you're not offering anything to the audience that isn't.
Well, like Walking Dead did. Walking Dead and Game of Thrones kind of deviated, but
And for a time, that's fine. I mean, you can go off the rails, as Game of Thrones arguably did.
I think with Last of Us, they really should just stick to it and show that you can stick to it. This is where Resident Evil went wrong, Silent Hill went wrong.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things have gone wrong because, like you said, they've tried to take the source material, stick it on TV, and change it. Last of Us, for me... is probably the first time next to Sandman.
Like,
I mean, Sandman was pretty close.
Looking at some of the games that have been, just to go off on a tangent, my brain just went, thinking of the games that have been adapted, say like Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Look how old those games are, you know, and how janky the dialogue is, or the script is, and the story is compared to games today, compared to films then, and films today as well, whereas The Last of Us is a modern game.
Yes.
So it has top quality writing and voice acting, so it's very easy to adapt that, whereas if you look at the other ones, their source material is like... like how do
the lead writer, I might be saying his name
maybe there's
wrong.
Something there.
Well,
no, Druckmann was involved. I think Druckmann's the writer for Last of Us, and he had a co-writer as well, but I think he's involved in the show. Now, there's some people who didn't enjoy Last of Us 2, and there's a whole hoo-ha over that.
Yeah.
He gets pinned the blame on that, but I think the first game is very well written, and the writer's involved. And you talked about Sandman. Gaiman was involved in making of that, obviously. He has a lead production role.
Yeah.
So, again, I think shows that have people tied in, the writers / creators involved. More recent Game of Thrones, people have loved the House of Dragon.
Yeah, the prequel show,
and obviously Martin's directly involved in the production of that. He's much more hands-on than he was, in a sense, forced to be hands-off with the previous...
the father show, I guess.
The derailment of his story. And I mean, I think the beats that you saw in that show will upset people, that I think some of them are his beats. But the truth of the matter is they're delivered poorly and haphazardly. You can go, Dragon Lady bad, and that's not a good writing tactic.
No.
But if you went Dragon Lady tortured by multiple instances of loss, betrayal, heartache, you could grind a person down in a far more intelligent narrative structure, and their descent into madness and justification for actions that seem abhorrent would become less painful to the audience to accept.
Yeah.
Because beloved characters...
We're still talking about Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Because
Sorry, we lost you.
The end of that show wasn't any of that.
Yeah. I didn't even watch it. I was just like, nope.
Yeah. No, but Angry Dragon Lady was bad. That was the end of the show.
Well, Ian, have you watched anything you'd like to talk about today?
You know what? I have had such a fucking week, and it's been some crazy fucking...
A bad week?
Man, I am wavering my whole right of just... I watched wrestling, I played some video games, I'm good. What'd you do?
Oh, okay. I like it, Ian. You keep it nice and short.
I was
nice and sweet.
I had a plan, but like I said, it's been some fucking crazy ass shit. Just fucking with life. I'm not going into it, but I was in work today, and I was planning, thinking, and I was thinking shit. I haven't made any notes, and I've been watching all this shit and blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what? For the celebration, waver it. Gary.
Alrighty then.
You can do it.
I've got a few things that I've watched. One of the ones that I want to talk about is Your Honor. I needed a Bryan Cranston fix.
Oh yeah.
Like I've had my Breaking Bad, and I've had my Better Call Saul, and then I had Ozark. And I was like, I need something else. And then I caught an image of Bryan Cranston with this disheveled beard, grizzly hair. He looked like a caveman.
You didn't even recognise him because the poster's quite dark.
And I was like, it's called Your Honor. I was like, okay, this looks like something interesting. And somebody basically said it's like Bryan Cranston does Breaking Bad 2.0. And basically he plays... I'll just skip small spoilers for the first 30 minutes of episode 1.
Yeah.
He's a very respected lawyer. His son is involved in a hit and run where he accidentally kills the biggest mob boss's son, and he hit and runs and kills him and leaves. Ooh. And Bryan Cranston, the dad, tries to cover it up with his son, and thus Breaking Bad, because the more you cover it up, the more the police start to unravel and clues and hidden things.
And the mob boss is going to come along.
And of course the mob boss is also trying to figure out what's going on. At the same time, there's also gang warfare going on. So it's 2 seasons. The second season's on episode 7 right now. It's almost done. Once the second season's over, that's it. So it was only supposed to be 1 season, but it did so well, they went, let's do another one and end it. Yeah. So I highly recommend Your Honor. Bryan Cranston greatness, definitely one to check out. Next thing I want to talk about is a film that I've been waiting to see for so long. I've also been waiting the longest time for this director to do something. I'm a huge fan of Darren Aronofsky, have been ever since Pi, Requiem for a Dream, which I won't ever watch again.
The Wrestler.
The Wrestler, The Fountain.
The Fountain,
I wasn't the only one. I didn't mind Mother, but the only one that I really didn't like was Noah. Now I know Darren Aronofsky likes to do a lot of biblical stuff. Russell Crowe.
That was a pretty badass movie. Actually,
I forgot her name. Jennifer Connelly.
I really fucking liked it. It was fucking epic.
For me, it was the most non-Darren Aronofsky movie.
Oh yeah, it felt like Gladiator director.
It felt like a Ridley Scott movie. It really did. It really did.
Maybe that's why I thought it was fine. I didn't.
It felt flat in terms of it didn't have that impact that I feel that every other Aronofsky movie is. Made my legs jelly
Garrett,
after watching.
I don't think it was subversive, and that's the.
No, it felt silly. Like a mainstream movie that he had to do as a favour or to make some money back, because his other films have
always felt subversive, especially things like Requiem and
so I finally got to watch The Whale, and obviously this is not just a Darren Aronofsky comeback, this is a huge comeback for Brendan Fraser. Now, of course, he was supposed to have appeared earlier in Batgirl, but that film was cancelled. I've been watching him in Doom Patrol for the last 3-4 years, which he's been fantastic in. And The Whale, though, my God, his performance in that is absolutely, truly gripping and phenomenal.
See, now it's crazy that you say that, because I was thinking about this today, right? Now, you say, like you say, Brendan Fraser's done this big comeback.
Yeah.
But I don't ever think Brendan Fraser ever really left. And I don't think Brendan Fraser ever really fucking crashed out.
I think Fraser had.
He definitely did.
No. Hear me out. Now I get that people stopped. They just stopped watching Brendan Fraser. They stopped watching Brendan Fraser.
Getting work for a few years.
He did. Now, but
it was part of the Me Too movement where he got potentially blacklisted because he pointed the fingers at people that sexually assaulted him.
Right.
And then he found he wasn't getting any more work.
Right, yeah. So that wasn't because he was a bad actor, and it wasn't because he was making bad movies. It was because the film industry went, no, you can't do that because it's bad. But he, like I said, he's got this comeback because people realised that actually he was all innocent. Now, I was thinking about this today when I was in work, and knew you were going to talk about The Whale, and I haven't seen it yet, and I really fucking do, because like I said, I love Brendan Fraser. But man, I can list them off the top of my fucking head, right? Fucking Airheads is fucking amazing. Fucking Encino Man or California Man, if you want to watch it, is fucking amazing. Bedazzled is fucking amazing. You know, fucking there's an old 80s movie that I still really want to see that I bet he was just really great in, and to come back. Like we said, we watched the first episode of Doom Patrol like a couple of years ago, and we were sat there like, we're unsure if we really enjoyed this or not, because it seems really odd. Brendan Fraser is a robot? What the fuck?
We live in an age where I think you get this in cycles. Now we've got Brendan Fraser come back, and then who else has come back? So Batman? Keaton.
Yeah, but Keaton was always fucking good too. That's what I'm fucking saying. I always liked Keaton too.
But Keaton never had a dull period. I mean, he was still making films.
He came back with Birdman.
Yeah.
Like this is fucking his Birdman. This is Brendan Fraser's Birdman.
And again, it's these older actors who they say just women get affected by Hollywood's aged out business, but I think there's a lot of factors, and some actors like will have something that carries them through their whole career. Like Patrick Stewart will make movie stuff until
he dies. He said he won't retire.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to. Yeah,
he's on the stage now. He stopped making Picard's last season's going to fly, and then he's straight onto stage acting.
But they get like Bryan Cranston, like we said with the Your Honor, they get to pick and choose their roles. And Brendan Fraser, like he took a risk, I think, with this, because obviously he was he big? And then he got a fat suit on, or he was small?
Brendan Fraser's gotten bigger anyway, but he basically, his body went through the ringer with the stunt work he was doing.
And
he had to have operations.
Yeah. He
had family crisis as well. Like there was a whole myriad of things that just
took him out.
Took him out for a while. But yeah, like
I think if you look at him now, and he's lost a few inches. And I think they fused several of his vertebrae.
But they put a suit on him, didn't they, to play this character where, like you said, Aronofsky wrote him in where he won't leave the house.
Well, that's the thing I want to say with The Whale is that it's one of those films that all takes place in that location. Now, of course, the character is obscenely obese and overweight, and he struggles to move at all. So the only time we see outside the house is when he's managed to move and look out the window. Then we get to look out the window.
Right.
Or if he manages to get out the front door and look around, he never leaves. So we never leave too. We stay with him the entire 2 hours of the film, and we have the different people that come in and the different people that leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will say the film is also structured around 5 days, Monday to Friday.
And you never leave this room.
You never leave the house.
Wow.
And so it is a fantastic drama, and it is a character piece. And I will say, like, you will. It will pull on those heartstrings hell. And now, interestingly, what I found when I was like halfway through the film, I realized like everybody in this film are really fairly horrible people in their own ways. And that's just one of the things that Aronofsky does quite well, is really shine a light on, the flaws in the human nature. And yet when you see those people that are aware of those flaws and that they are trying to overcome them and to do at least one good thing in all the shit that they've caused, you kind of latch on to that in a character, especially in a film like this. And so if you're prepared to do that, you're going to go on one hell of a ride, and you'll just love Brendan Fraser even more. Yeah. The other actress I want to bring up in The Whale as well was, I forget her name. It's like Mink, I think it is, or Sadie something.
Sadie
Sink. I don't remember her name. It's the redhead girl from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I got a shock when she turned up at this, because I was like, oh, it's the girl from Stranger Things. She had a lot to do last season in that.
Yeah.
And she stole some of the scenes that she was in this, and I was like, she still plays the kind of bratty girl, kind of persona that she has from that, but brought out so much stronger here than in Stranger Things. Yeah. So she was really, really good. So yeah, I hands down, I think The Whale may be my film of the year.
It's only February, mate.
It's only February. I
still got fucking
goodness. There's a
Ezra Miller's bullshit coming up. Sorry.
Well, that's apparently getting really good partners in the test screening.
Get very excited. I finally got to see The Whale.
There's a lot of films that might have good test screenings coming out this year.
Well, yeah, things gonna have touchscreens.
Probably not from Marvel, though, because Marvel just can't make films anymore. But
so what else you got?
I want to talk about Dead Space. I've been dead spacing.
I'm gonna stick for an hour.
I literally checked because I played just a little bit of Dead Space this morning because I've still got some. I want to uninstall it now. I need to.
Stop.
But like, you know what it's like if you're a gamer, right?
Yeah.
And you get achievements every now and again.
Yeah, man.
I want to get that all achievements for Dead Space Remake.
Well,
I want
to just.
It's been a long time since I played a game where I want all the achievements from it. So yeah, so I'm literally just playing it just to tidy up, and it's like get 30 kills with a line gun, stomp a bunch of enemies, then upgrade every weapon and collect every blueprint. So I'm just like, I've already got the pew pew gun.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just walking through the ship and just. For it's my last time walking around going, look at this architecture, listen to this music, the sound effects. I know where all the jump scares are.
Yeah.
I know, but it's my last time for now until I revisit it again years later when I've forgotten where all the jump scares are again.
Yeah, man.
But Dead Space Remake has been fucking amazing. They really did it well with love, and I really hope they get to make remake Dead Space 2 as well. Absolutely phenomenal job. If you're a fan of the original, this is not just a remaster. This is a fully refurbished game built from the ground up with spectacular sound design, gameplay, characterization, animations, gore. It has it all. And it is endlessly replayable. And when I checked today, I was already on hour 100 for this remake. So it's absolutely worth it. So, yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Alrighty, so I think we're just about ready to jump into the news. Let's do this.
Juice news.
Get to... Where's my mouse gone? There it is. Well, sadly, we always do this at the beginning of the news segment.
Yeah,
if there has
seems
been
to be a common feature at these podcasts.
It has now, but I want to talk about Raquel Welch, who has sadly passed away at the age of 82. An iconic actress, made so by their glorious bikini-clad role in 1 Million Years BC. And the posters from that film.
I should say, the film's not great.
No, it's not. But
it's her bikini.
It's one. I mean, that's why it became a poster, and of course made. Well, the first time I was introduced to it,
it was a pulp art moment, because again, it's the classic Conan front covers. I forget.
Yeah.
There's a certain artist that used to draw them, and it was very famous at the time. Where you have Princess of Mars, sort of again the kind of iconic pulp 40s. Not to be confused with the modern version of Carter, John Carter of Mars, which was like, no, you missed the whole point.
Why would you put that image in my head? I was thinking about Raquel Welch in a bikini, and then you're putting that fucking John Carter bullshit.
So that's it. Call it Rockwell Mars of Mars.
But her earliest role was in 1964's A House Is Not a Home, followed by a small role in Roustabout, which was Elvis Presley movie.
Oh, nice.
But then she was made even more famous in 1966's Fantastic Voyage, and then of course 1 Million Years BC. But she also appeared in films such as Legally Blonde, Bedazzled, and The Three Musketeers. So yeah, absolutely an icon, and will be missed.
The Shawshank Redemption poster.
Exactly.
When he rips it down, you're like, Raquel hid the way. She hid the way.
What a scene! What a moment!
Yeah, it's a shame, but we live in a media age where you're kind of more conscious of all these people that are kind of icons.
Well, nowadays, I mean, we're in that future age where we could actually just hologram Raquel Welch, and just actually de-age her and just bring her back. Well, that's it. Did she give permission before she passed?
No one's ever...
If she didn't, does that even count if you just used it anyway?
Can they steal your soul?
It's rarely a podcast goes by where we don't talk at least about Marvel or DC in some capacity.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the Flash movie briefly, as it has now been totally confirmed that it will be the last movie in the current DC universe, and it will act as the great reset before moving forward with the new DCU. The Flash film will arrive sometime in June this year, after a series of setbacks and reshoots and off-camera crimes. Looking at Ezra Miller. Now, it's no real surprise that the Flashpoint paradox would result in the DC reset, and despite DC movies not doing as well as Marvel films, James Gunn has claimed many times that Flash is a fantastic movie that he really loves.
Oh, of course.
So, you don't know whether he's just saying that because he's the new boss?
Yeah, he's saying that because he's the new
DC
boss. I mean,
bullets
James
back
Cameron said the same shit for fucking Dark Fate. He thought it was a really good rendition of his story. Yeah, I did. I fucking paid to go see it in the cinema like a dick.
But I did see the trailer for this Flash film. I was like, usually I don't bother with them. I was like, I'll watch this one because I might skip it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I've got to see Michael Keaton as Batman. Come on, I've got to do it. Like, is Christian Bale going to be in there for a cameo?
I read something about him, actually. He's actually stated in an interview that unless Christopher Nolan okays his use of his Batman, because in fairness, Nolan's Batman is completely separate from the DC.
Well, so was Keaton's for the most part until now.
No, kind of, because I mean,
well, none of the other Batman films existed in that world,
but. Obviously, DC have more of a control, I'd say,
over
the Batman and Batman Returns. I mean, they could, if they wanted to, stick a picture of Val Kilmer in one of them and be like, oh, yeah, here's Batman who got old.
But I mean, that's the point. The actor would do it. DC would jump at the chance to get Christian Bale. But if Bale's like, only if Nolan's got
Ezra fucking Miller has fucking ruined this shit.
Wow.
It's like, right? Okay, we had this discussion a couple of days ago. No, but it's like if we go and see a fucking Kevin Spacey movie
hasn't been tried in court yet.
That's not the fucking point, bruh.
And isn't there an arts, and it's the famous, look, this is just a well-worn argument of like, how do you separate artist and the artist? And also on top of
I get
what
that.
happens if they're innocent? You've now badmouthed them for 6
Ezra
months
Miller's,
and you're a monster.
Ezra Miller's not really innocent that he went to Hawaiian
Oh no,
bars.
he's crazy. I totally agree.
Right. But we're going to go see
whether
this
or not
movie,
he should be sectioned on a mental health act.
DC, you know for a full fact, DC are just going to spoon feed you the Flashpoint story from the DC comics. They're going to try and nail every note that they can, shove in as many Batman as they can, just like Spider-Man was in No Way Home, and try and make some money of it so that they can obviously...
Here's a twist.
But it doesn't matter because James Gunn's already said, we're resetting it anyway.
They are.
So...
But Gary, have you heard about the... I don't know if it's in your news feeder. There's a rumour going around that Netflix are trying to buy the Snyderverse.
I don't think Netflix are, but I think people are talking to Netflix to do
because there were rumours that they came out after more recently when it was suggested. It seems like Netflix actually approached.
I've heard that James Gunn's talked to Snyder, and Snyder's like, look, I'm busy doing all my zombie films and war films and other things for Netflix right now, so I haven't got time to go back to do superhero stuff
what
anyway.
What is the Snyder universe, right? Like, what films are in that? What?
Batman,
Man of Steel, Dawn of Fate, fucking
Justice League.
Wonder Woman.
What, his Justice League?
Yeah, his one.
Not Whedon's Justice League.
No,
so,
leave that alone.
Wonder Woman, both Wonder Woman
movies
are part of it, and Aquaman. This,
And Aquaman
this is
2,
your Snyderverse.
And Suicide Squad, and...
Do you know what's fucking bullshit? Do you know what's fucking bullshit? Is that we had a perfectly good, and I'll go on fucking record to say this, we had a perfectly good Green Lantern movie. Right? And people just fucking shoveled shit all over it. And yet Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 84 get their whole Snyderverse shit out.
You mean the CGI shit?
Right. We're going to do this dance? Green Lantern's not as good as Wonder Woman 1984?
1984 was a pile of trash, but...
Yes! 1984 was a pile of trash. Fucking Green Lantern's better than that shit.
But Green Lantern doesn't get better by saying... That's a trash over there.
No, it doesn't. But at least they were trying something in that movie. What did you have? You had Green Lantern. You had the Lantern Corps, and somebody went, "Oh no, that's absolute trash. We're going to reset the fucking universe." With DC's reset their universe so many times.
Ryan Reynolds hated the film so much he skipped the country and went and bought a football club.
I know you guys are really excited to go see The Flash, and I really hope you go to see it and really enjoy it, and it makes some money, and they get to continue doing the next coming of superhero movies in the DC universe. But Marvel's like,
oh, they are, but they
and
are.
I'm like, okay.
The stuff Marvel's pumping out is.
It's
grey goop at the moment. It does feel
great. Okay. I know you say that, and I know it doesn't make things better. Wonder Woman 84. Anything by Marvel makes that movie just look trash.
Yeah, but I could go watch the films I watched this week, which were better than all of them.
What Marvel movie would you watch Wonder Woman 1984 over?
Well, any of them.
Name one. Name a Marvel movie.
What better than
that you would watch?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
See, no. Wonder Woman. You have to watch Wonder Woman 84 than any other Marvel.
Oh, you mean the
movie.
other way?
I don't want to.
No,
right. He doesn't want to.
I think the better way to say it, is there a worse film in the Marvel pantheon than
Black Widow?
Even Eternals.
Actually, no.
Black Widow is worse.
No. Black Widow is worse, arguably.
Black Widow is not bad, not worse than Wonder Woman 84.
It didn't serve any purpose, and the problem in a combined universe where I'm watching something.
Neither did Wonder Woman 84.
She got, I don't know, she was gold in it a bit, and there was like that.
Struggling, mate. Struggling.
She was a bit of an film.
Right,
but so was Black Widow. All I remember that is
Black Widow established something
that
Black Widow did actually establish something inside that Marvel universe. So at least when you watch the Marvel Universe movies and you come across Black Widow, the story continuity works to the point that when you see, say, her sister get fleshed out, then she comes back and you can carry it on. That's the point of making a universe. Wonder Woman 84 went, here's a guy that makes wishes, we've taken him away.
I somehow feel that Wonder Woman killing its own franchise was a kindness.
Well, she didn't know, because they've got a universe.
But Marvel dragged me along for a ride where it's like, cool.
No, they didn't.
Now I have to wander into Hawkeye and I'm like,
you chose to watch those movies.
How to make Wilson Fisk less interesting. All I want Kingpin to do is slam a man's head in a car door and split pots.
You chose, like everybody else. else. You chose to go to the cinema and watch a Marvel movie and then come out 2 hours later and go, that was a pile of shit. Same as I chose to watch Wonder Woman 84, but I chose to watch it because I knew it was fucking shit. I had to fucking watch it to be able to turn to people and say, it's still fucking shit.
It's arguably why we do anything. That's the entire reason.
Next news story. Now, this is a story that I promised to keep tabs on because I'm interested in when this finally does happen. Joe Cornish and John Boyega are still working on Attack the Block 2. Now, in a recent interview with Fangoria, Cornish explained that he was fairly busy working on Lockwood & Co. for Netflix while still working on the script for Attack 2. Joe Cornish has said that he is drawing on a pair of all-time greats in James Cameron's sequels as the benchmark for Attack the Block 2, looking at Terminator 2 and Aliens on how to make a good follow-up film. He said, we think about Alien and Aliens and Terminator 2, and we want to take a shot at doing our version of what people did for those movies.
So a shit ton of aliens and a load of chase sequences.
Absolutely. At the moment, the film is in the research stages in order to craft the story with all the care required. His words, obviously I can make stuff up about aliens quite easily, but the other stuff, the aspects of reality that we folded the fantasy into, we did a lot of research for, and we are currently doing the same thing. We have a very detailed treatment and a storyline we're very, very excited about, and when I say we, I mean me and John Boyega, who I'm co-producing the film with and consulting very closely with, and we're doing all the research to make sure we get it right.
See, now what would be good, like, because Attack the Block is really good. It's really unique, but I don't think you can replicate the gritty inner city stuff. That's allowed.
The alien was in
movie.
The block tower, right?
Yeah. Well,
so now do the city.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like to me.
But then, like, I'm sat here and I'm thinking, like, what
National Guard coming in?
What if John Boyega, like, because in a weird way he's gonna bring his character back, but he's older now and he's gonna be
allow it, bruv.
Yeah, allow it, bruv. So, like, is he gonna be coming out of jail and then the alien comes down, or is the movie gonna open up and they've already landed and there's been some fucking shit that's gone down? I think it'd be really beneficial for them if they didn't keep it allocated in the inner city grittiness that the first one had, because that's what keeps that unique. Like you said, spread it out into London, capture every different aspect of London.
What, are you asking for a remake of, like, Cockneys versus Zombies?
No. Like, how, like, 28 weeks later,
it just went
London,
up in scale.
In scale, and they just fucking that kind of shit, and have it like a completely new set of characters, and Boyega fucking turns up like halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way through, goes, oh, actually, this is how you actually kill them, because that's going to fucking happen. They're going to work it out and save the fucking world at the end anyway.
What was he called? Moses, wasn't he?
Yeah, Moses. But then what you do is they have this fucking giant victory at the end, like on Tower Bridge or the Tower, like they get them all to go into the fucking Big Ben, and then they blow up Big Ben, and Big Ben fucking explodes, and then they're like, woo! And then as they turn around, they're like, oh, look, are those fireworks? And you're just setting up for a third one.
The third one.
The third one's coming down. It's global. Yeah, boy.
Alrighty. Next bit of news. Now, we got a new film in the works from the director of Barbarian. Yeah? This is Zach Kreger, and his new film is going to be titled Weapons. New Line Cinema will be producing this film, which has been described as an interrelated, multi-story horror epic that tonally is in the vein of Magnolia.
What, the Tom Cruise movie?
Well, this Weapons is going to be in the vein of Magnolia. That's what he's using, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm saying...
Yes, yeah. Now, Zach Kreger has opted to work with New Line Cinema as they promised a theatrical run for the film and ensured that Zach gets final cut of the film. This is the quote. Zach proved with Barbarian that he can create a visceral theatrical experience for audiences and that he commands every tool in the filmmaker's tool belt. That was New Line's president and CCCO, Richard Brenner. He said, we couldn't be happier that he chose New Line to be the home of his next film, and we hope this is the first of many more to come. Obviously, Barbarian was huge last year, ended up on most of our best of films lists. So one director to follow, and now that he has a home at New Line that have literally said, be an auteur, you get to make it, and we'll put it in cinemas for you.
Like, as he said, it's another horror, right?
Yes, it's an interrelated multi-story horror epic in the vein of Magnolia.
Oh, I'll have to watch Magnolia again. And
Get an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Barbarian was good, so I'm interested in weapons. Now, here's one that is definitely going to get a few groans, and one that you wish you could forget what you did last summer, as it is getting a legacy sequel with the original cast returning.
Who? What? Sarah Michelle Gellar and
No. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are tipped to reprise their roles because they both survived the second movie, which at the end hinted that the killer was still stalking them, still remembering what they did several summers ago. Whoa. Now, of course, Scream has had a huge success. Halloween, despite being what it is, they made their money back. They were successes. And so Sony Pictures are like,
no.
Well, we tried to make a crappy sequel. We had a terrible series. But okay, I guess we have to do it like everybody else does it.
Why aren't they making another Final Destination? That's the easiest.
They are still working on a sixth one
to fucking do. And just keep knocking them out. Like, but fucking, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, the first one isn't very good. Like, wait. Okay, so the premise is always, spoilers, the killer waits a whole fucking year.
Wait, now he's waited 2 decades.
To just sneak up on them with a fish hook and a fisherman's outfit and go, ah! I mean...
Scary, isn't it?
Will Benson. Will Ben's son. The killer was called Ben. And the guy in the second one who captures them all is his son, called Will. And his name's Will Benson. They actually wrote that in the fucking script, bro. Well, he says to her at the end, like, I'm pretty sure you didn't... How did you not figure it out? And she's like, oh, Will Benson. Ben. Son. Felt like just killing myself. Smash my head in my TV.
Nordic families use that as construction in their name.
Fuck, why do you do this to me? Why? No, it's fucking I Know What You Did Last Summer. None of them are fucking Nordic.
It's a naming system. And they based it in fact. It upsets you. I see that now. But unfortunately, it's still true. But it may be terrible. That's not denied.
I'll give it a go. I mean, I'm going to be there for the latest Scream movie. I might as well.
I mean, you watched all the Sharknadoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it, I'll skip.
The new Scream movie doesn't look very good.
It's in New York City.
None of it looks very good. What in the name of God?
I stopped after 3. I haven't gone back.
Of them. The problem is modern remakes, and it is true. It's the postmodernist recycling old ideas because there's no new ones apparently.
And then it's just sold on the characters that they've managed to establish. So Jenny Ortega's obviously done really, really well, and she's in the Scream movie. So they're like, let's try and sell it more. And I bet you she makes it to the end so that they can kill her off in the third one.
And it goes back to see how they run because they said we're not doing a sequel. People were begging for a sequel to that film.
They will do a sequel as soon as money starts running out. Yeah.
Well, no, because the director said he'd like to do another film with all the actors and make it sort of another version. Another kind of ensemble cast essentially, where you kind of just have fun. And a lot of these, premier directors do that nowadays. Certain Bill Murray with my brain's went blank. Who's the artistic director?
The artist.
Budapest Hotel and Hotel Budapest.
Fucking.
Oh yeah,
that guy.
Paul Anderson.
Yeah, and again he
Wes Anderson.
Not Paul W. Anderson.
No.
No, because you got Paul W. S. Anderson, then you got Paul Anderson, then you got
Wes Anderson. All the Andersons.
Mr. Anderson. Wes is that sort of thing. That's what they might try to do another one because it did have had the fingerprints of a little bit of a Wes Anderson film, but it wasn't too much of a rip off of that style that Wes does. But anyway, sorry.
Next,
okay, maybe a new story that might be worth getting excited for. We've talked about this one in the past, but Vin Diesel is finally gearing up for the next Riddick film, Furia.
Furia was his homeworld.
Fury with an A at the end. I don't know how you say it.
Furia was his homeworld, because he's a Furian.
Fiona.
He's a Furian.
Furian, that's right, yeah. Now, it's been teased for years, and it's been 10 years. 10 years! 10 years! Since the last film. Riddick came out in 2013. And now, according to Deadline, the story follows Riddick returning to his homeworld, a place he barely remembers, and one he fears might be left in ruins by the necromongers. But there he finds other other Furians fighting for their existence against a new enemy.
What? What? What?
You've broken the Superman logic, which is the last son of Krypton, the last Furian.
The last Furian was going to kill the Necromonger, and he killed the Necromonger, and then they fucked.
And then he found some more Furians. Hey. We're going to Batman together, boys. We're going to get furious.
And then I
wonder
bet
if Riddick has family.
I bet you the end of it, he'll raise an army. I bet you he'll raise an army just as the Necromongers turn up with Karl Urban, and we'll be like, "Oh, they're making a new movie," and they'll be like, "Nope,
no."
And they can just make another Judge Dredd, because all I want is more Judge Dredd. Where's Karl Urban?
Word Dredd, yeah.
But yeah, Tui, the director, the writer, he said his collaborations with Vin over the last 20 years, they've created 3 movies, 2 video games, anime production, motion comics for the internet. And he said this new big screen event will see the return to Riddick's homeworld, and we finally get to explore Riddick's genesis. So I'm optimistic. It should at least be a good, fun sci-fi adventure.
I've always loved them. I've loved them since Pitch Black. I watched Pitch Black twice in the cinema and thought it was absolutely amazing. And then they hit me with Chronicles of Riddick, and I wasn't sure about it, but I still loved it, even though everyone told me it was fucking what it was.
I think you watched the review on the channel, and there's much love for that film.
Was it Escape from Butcher Bay was a fucking great game that most PCs couldn't run at the time because it looked so good and the graphics were so good. And then they dropped, Riddick, which is basically just a remake of the first movie, but I like it. Even Katie Sackhoff's in it, and she's fucking hot, and it's fucking great. So bring it on, Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
If he says I am Riddick in it, I will fucking die. I shit you not.
I am Riddick. Megan sequel in the works. We already talked about it being hyped up last podcast.
Chucky 2.0.
I might actually
so there is really no surprise here, but it's also getting a re-release soon with an unrated cut showing the gore that was removed to lower the age restriction for its theatrical run.
Okay.
Now, James Wan and Team Blumhouse, they wanted to let fans know that yes, a sequel is in the works and that they have about 7 ideas for the sequel movie. Megan 2.0 is already planned for a 2025 release in January. Yet the script is not finished. They said we've got to write the script. I mean, they said you've got to give us a little bit of time. He said
the robot did it.
He said the creative process suffers when you rush. He said you pretend you're not making compromises, but you always do. So I wanted to give us enough time to make the movie great, and we have that now. We have the whole team coming back, and we're not having to hire a new writer or director. All those people are in place. When you're dealing with a character like Megan, we're not just talking about making a sequel. It has to be an upgrade.
Fucking,
I'm happy. Give me more Killer Doll movies. I mean, Chucky's run 6 movies and 2 seasons of a show.
And that's it. Chucky is the fucking king of this shit.
He is, yeah.
Megan comes up. You say it was James Wan?
Yeah.
Mr. fucking Malignant?
Yeah.
I'm fucking well off of it. Fucking, basically, they've got this fucking robot that they're hoping will come on. They've had to release another fucking version of the first movie for more fucking gore, which you don't even... it's fucking... Fuck, you know what? I'd rather just watch AI twice.
Yeah. I enjoyed Megan quite a bit. It's not great
because you needed a Killer Doll movie.
Yeah, I did, and I wanted to see an AI doll. It was very creepy. Yeah. For me, they nailed the physical look and dress of this doll.
Yeah,
they got the voice right.
Yeah.
It was creepy. It was sinister, and it was fun.
Yeah,
and I like the sci-fi-ness of it. I like the character interactions. I like watching the AI learn and get corrupted.
Jigsaw.
And I'd happily watch 10 more of these.
Yes, Jigsaw, the only Killer Doll good movie.
Child's play, clearly. Still.
Yeah.
Right, now here's one.
Gone, mate.
Now here's one that is going to cause some severe groaning. We are going to be getting a new slew of Lord of the Rings movies.
Good, bring them on.
They are being planned at Warner Brothers Discovery. They've already said there is an animated movie, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, which is an animated story about the House of Helm Hammerhead,
they should do it like
which is in production.
movie.
Now,
you're going to get the actors back to voice the characters.
Carl Urban.
Yeah. Now, apparently, WBD want more live-action films in the vein of Peter Jackson's 2 trilogies. There's no details about the story they want to tell yet, but we do know that the second age is off limits because Amazon just paid a shit ton of money to tell stories in that playpen.
Yep.
But now Warner Brothers, I think, want to take the story forward after The Return of the King. Now, apparently, Fran Walsh and Peter Jackson are being kept in the loop with this new Lord of the Rings film. Well, I mean, they were kind of not in the loop with the Amazon show. So, because the Amazon show is not part of the Lord of the Rings movies, but they pretend to exist in that universe.
Well, they dance on the wire.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, you say pretend.
It's all made pretend.
See, they're all made pretend. I mean, it's all a magical story by fucking Tolkien, but. I watched Rings of Power, or partially watched Rings of Power with the wife, and she's a massive. And you watched it all the way through, right? Now, okay,
it's all right.
It had hints and nods back to Jackson's trilogy, which at the time I thought, he'd been involved. But now I know it's like, all right, Amazon just tried to copy it.
The cardboard armor they were wearing looked a little cardboard.
Play on your memories of those films.
Did,
yeah.
But at the same time, as a fan, I've always loved and will always love that 1974 animated Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
Which was, at the time, for me, one of the greatest fucking low-budget animations I could ever watch. And so when somebody just comes along and goes, hey, we're going to make more Lord of the Rings stuff, I'm like, bring it on. Because, like... You want elves. It's the best place for fucking elves and dwarves and fucking dragons and fucking magic and all that kind of shit. And you could hate it, but like we said with 1984 Wonder Woman, you don't have to watch it. You're choosing to watch it and then sit there 3 or 4 episodes in going, I don't like where this story's going, but you need it to exist. Like this new set of movies. Yeah. So if they don't properly get Jackson in and properly give him some of the reins, they've basically got. I don't
know if Peter Jackson wants to do any more.
And again,
he doesn't want to. But as long as he signs off with saying, like Cameron, and like Juan and the rest of them,
it's more likely
going,
as you get
they've actually put some effort in.
I think it's just more like a courtesy,
and it's also, I suspect he'll be a production input, and also I almost certainly suspect Waiter Works will be involved, and it'll be shot in New Zealand again on site. And it'll probably be based on Silmarillion's writings, because you've got a small... Tolkien wrote a very small, fractured history after the events of Lord of the Rings that covered the lifespan of Aragorn and Arwen. And it goes a little bit beyond there, but it doesn't go much beyond there.
Yeah.
It goes into their children, which Arwen outlives a few
People just want more Lord of the Rings stuff because they love the trilogy, and every time they watch this and they go, oh, that fucking sucks, they go back and watch the trilogy again. But you watch the trilogy again and it does sometimes look really quite dated. Like, I love it. I fucking love it.
23 years old
exactly
now.
And it,
the 4K prints of the film, you like, well, I can see the seams now.
But, you talk about cardboard armor and shit in Amazon. When you see the Ride of the Rohirrim come across the hill going down to hit,
it's still epic.
It's still fucking epic. Don't get me wrong. But the tighter and more pristine you make it look in 4K, the more you realise it's still CGI, guys.
Yeah, no, the way I've seen the making of all of it, because I've just watched it all to death. And again, they were using the same riders and then CGI them back.
Yeah.
Fill in the back.
But it's still fucking ace.
And that's the thing. A lot of it is authentic and still stands up because outside of those huge sequences, they minimise the use of CGI, which has given it a longer lifespan in terms of being a shelf masterpiece.
Yeah.
And because...
Which is why people complain about The Hobbit, because they used more CGI in that, but because that was easier to do, because of how long it takes to do all the practical effects in the first one, you know? Yeah. I mean, the stuff with, obviously, McKellen getting upset because he's having to talk to just green balloons instead of the dwarves, because you've got to get the size factor, it comes up. Yeah, bring it on. What's next?
Welcome to Derry. We talked about this again on the previous podcast, but now I just want to say that the Pennywise prequel series has officially been ordered at HBO Max.
Okay.
The series will be set in the 1960s and include the origin story for Pennywise the Clown. By all accounts, this is actually being made by the team that made the 2 movies and by those that just love the source material. Most of them in interviews have said that Stephen King's It, the novel, is their favourite novel ever. And so they literally feel like this is a dream project for them. So it's wonderful to know that it is being made with love and attention, so that it shouldn't wreck canon or anything like that.
But best embrace of the worst.
They literally said in quotes, as teenagers, we took turns reading chapters of Stephen King's It until the thick paperback fell to pieces. He said, it is an epic story that contains multitudes far beyond that which we could explore in the It movie. So we can't wait to share the depths of Stephen King's novel in all its heart, humour, humanity, and horror.
How old are these guys? Like 100? Like, if I called up my friends when I was younger, like, what are you doing this Saturday? Oh, I don't know. Do you want to read a Stephen King novel back to back? The chapters. I'd be like, no, I want to watch Terminator.
No, I'll be honest. There's some, those books are pretty. That book is pretty dark.
Yeah, it's dark as fuck. But, bruh, like, even back in the 1980s, you'd have been playing fucking Atari and shit, not sitting going, and he reached up and he grabbed the boy and he pulled him in and he bit his arm off. Now it's your turn. Okay. And then you're just reading about the stutter fucking hell.
And then you get to the chapter where they have to get out.
Man, I mean, once you get to the fucking gangbang sequence, you'd be like, what you did? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like the idea of doing the prequel to Pennywise. I think it'll work, but then it might upset some hardcore fans. But at the same time, they're missing a trick. They should totally remake Maximum Overdrive. They should totally remake it. Yeah, see, everybody agrees.
I'll have what you're having, please, Ian. Next story. Shinji Mikami has just quit Tango Gameworks. Now, Shinji is well known in the video game industry, especially in the survival horror genre, leading the way with Resident Evil 1 through 4 and then the Evil Within games. And it looked likely that Evil Within 3 was being teased in a Hi-Fi Rush and also apparently in Ghostwire Tokyo, which also apparently did start out its production as Evil Within 3 before something happened and it became Ghostwire Tokyo. Excuse me, but Shinji is now out. And now in a small statement that he made, he wrote, I'd be open to returning as a director for a new project, but on my terms. So there's actually been no reason why Shinji has left Tango Gameworks, but that seems like a big enough clue.
Creative freedom issue.
Creative freedom, yeah.
You know who that motherfucker should hook up with Kojima.
Right.
Kojima's got the same fucking...
the same problem with Konami. And maybe Shinji had this issue with Capcom before he left and then ended up with Bethesda.
Let's make Resident Evil
Japanese
Metal
can be very
Gear.
rigid corporate operations.
Oh, yeah. You work for 23 hours a day. And then
But yeah, I mean, it's just sad. I mean, obviously he was the director for Evil Within 1, but he wasn't. He was the producer for Evil Within 2.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen Shinji Mikami do Evil Within 3, but now if it seems likely, there's still hints, obviously, of Evil Within 3, so it still might happen. But now he'll have no involvement in it at all.
It looks like it's taking a Silent Hill turn because I mean, Evil Within 2 was like you played both of them, but. Like, you preferred the second one over the first one?
I prefer the first one, yeah.
You prefer the first one?
I prefer his one, the one that he directed.
Yeah, so
and the second one has great moments, and it has, I think, a better story, but the first one is a better game.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? The first one's a better game. It's more...
But that's to me. I mean, a lot of people split on it.
The second one I felt was a bit like The Last of Us.
The second one was much more emotional.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the story beats and the character beats, but the first one was such a mystery, and it was very linear, which I liked. The second one had all these open world bits, which was just like, this is not what I'm looking for.
Hell of them, everyone wanting to have an open world game, don't we?
Yes,
or a live service.
Yeah.
One of the two devils bargains. Ubisoft will have both.
Last news story for us today. Saw 10, or as it's being called, Saw X, has wrapped production. Both Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith are back in a big way for this one, currently due for release, as always with the Saw movies, in October 2023. Now, Grutert who is the overseer, or Kevin Grutart, who is the overseer for most of the Saw franchise, he said, "I hope we can use the title Saw X because this chapter really gets back to the roots of what makes Saw so special to me and everyone else who loves John Kramer's saga." Now, I mentioned this guy because I think he was the at least director for 3 or 4 of the movies. He edited those 4 movies. He was also co-writer and producer on a lot of the Saw movies as well. And in my opinion, the best Saw movies.
What, Saw 3 and Saw 4?
I think he was responsible for 3, 4, and 5, like the middle chunk of the Saw.
Yeah. So when he died in number 3,
Yeah.
and then obviously the 4, 5,
Such a cool-
they kept the
yeah.
cop. They had the undercover cop leading
Yeah.
up to the death of the wife. Yeah, that was. I'm a big fucking Saw fan. I've loved the fucking series since the start, but I loved it when they started to make Jigsaw this, this horror character.
It was more
Yeah.
of a
And
more
it
of
was. I always just loved it. I was watching
the
on
fact that a man died in one film and his horror never ended.
Well, the people, everyone was always saying to me, like, how the fuck are you still watching
But
these
it's
movies? It's just torture porn. But I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you're missing the story because Tobin Bell, the Jigsaw character, he captures these people and makes them try to learn their lessons because, they're
appreciate
bad
and revalue
people.
their
And
lives.
there's a sadism
But
to his
once
lesson, but
it got to the final chapter and his wife got taken out, spoilers, and then fucking Carrie Ewells turns up from the first one, spoilers if you haven't seen the first one. I was just like, okay, they've really cut it off. Then that's the end. I'm happy. I'm happy that series is done. Then they brought back
Spiral and Jigsaw.
and the other one, and I was just like, this is just trying to hit the same notes, and not doing it as good as before.
Well, the
so if they
intelligence
bring
was-
him back,
yeah.
then brilliant. They will just need to stick to the dynamic that Jigsaw is dead. Whoever is doing it is a follower of his and is still living by his rules. That you don't hurt innocent people. No character no person that they've ever grabbed in a Jigsaw movie is innocent. Every one of them is and I'm going to use a foul word now, a cunt, right? And by the end of it, you're like, I'm kind of glad he died. Like the acid guy, remember the guy with the
what I
fucking
like
stick?
is the fact that yes, they are horrible people, but you still kind of sympathise with them and then want
Well,
them
you gotta
to
remember-
overcome the error of their ways and actually become better people.
because of the terrible
and
situation
you want
they're
them
in.
to get out of these horrible traps because you put yourself in them.
No, that's the thing. That's the difference
that's
for
what you
me.
do as a horror movie.
No, that's what I don't do because I would never be that
When
kind
then
of
it is
evil
torture porn
person.
where you're just like rooting
Ian,
for gruesome
in
death.
No,
Hellra-
you're
it's-
not.
no,
Because
Ian,
every person in there, like, sorry,
Not every person.
Yes, everyone. I can fucking list you right now. The cop, well, the FBI
breaks-
agent.
he starts taking out innocents.
Now the FBI agent, the FBI agent wasn't killed by Jigsaw. He was killed by the corrupt cop.
That's my point. The corrupt cop was masquerading as
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw.
No. That's different.
That's
different.
but it allows you to take...
That's what led him
That's
to
one
Carrie
of the better
Ewells.
movies, though.
That's what led him to Carrie Ewells coming back and having to take him out because he was subverting and diverting Jigsaw's rule. That's what I'm saying. You've got to you've got to look deeper into it. And that cop is spoilers. That cop was given the rule. All he had to do was climb in the box and go away, and he would have lived. And he went against the rules, same as Jigsaw set, and so he paid for that price.
I know, absolutely, but that's how you make the films interesting. You have to break the formula a little bit.
Well, I think now we have to go back to the formula before we can break it again because right now the formula that they've been trying is not working.
It's definitely better fucking torture porn than fucking Terrifier. I'm fucking telling you.
But no, don't get me wrong, the Spiral was a bit naff.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the news stories, but we do have one trailer that we urge you guys to watch when we take a break momentarily.
No.
There's a film trailer right now for a film called Sisu. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's spelled SISU. And this is from the Rare Exports filmmakers.
Right.
And now the trailer sells itself to you that if you love watching Nazis get blasted to pieces in extreme and brutal ways in a World War II John Wick style action film,
this motherfucker.
this film is for you.
This motherfucker, he gets caught by some German Nazi soldiers. They try to take his shit from him, and he fucks them all up. There is a bit, is he launching off of a bike or a tank?
I think so, yeah.
So he's fucking flying through the air, dude, with a pickaxe, and he sticks it into a bottom of a plane as it's flying over, and as it sticks through the floor, one of the pilots goes, I think we've got a problem. And you know he's just going to climb in there and fuck them up. He's going to kill them. He, like, in the trailer, he takes on like a fucking tank of people. Like, there's that bit where there's a German... Spoiler, sorry. There's a bit where there's Nazi officers like, how many mines did you put out there? Like, and the soldier's like, all of them. So you know there's a lot. So he sends 2 soldiers out. Blam, blam! And you're like, oh.
Yeah, it looks insanely gory, filled with explosives, and it looks like there's some pretty decent action in there, so this looks like a lot of fun.
It made me think that all these people he killed comes back in Dead Snow.
Yes, it's a Dead Snow prequel.
It's a Dead Snow prequel.
Alrighty, so that is the end of the first part of the podcast. We are going to take a 5 to 10 minute break, and then when we get back, we will be celebrating 10 years of off-the-shelf reviews on YouTube by having a look back over the last 10 years. So hopefully you guys will stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. Don't go anywhere. Hello, and welcome back to the second part of the podcast where we're going to be celebrating 10 years of off-the-shelf reviews on YouTube. My God, Ian, we did 10 years.
10 years.
It doesn't feel like it, right? Like the last 3 years especially have just like, oh shit, yeah, it is 10 years now.
I mean, I want to say it doesn't feel like it, but like you said, the last 3 or 4 years, it's been like, oh my God, it's coming up to 10 years. Like the first 4 years was pretty fucking, they just kind of flew by because it was just work.
And there were also much shorter videos, and but
it was the adaptation. You know,
let's go all the way back, shall we? Let's go all the way back. Now I'm gonna play. I'm gonna put some video on in the background. I may just have to adjust this very quickly.
Here we go.
I'm gonna mute it so we don't get the audio bleeding through. Now, hopefully this is coming through for everyone, and I do apologise to anyone that's only listening to the audio version of the podcast right now, but if you're looking at the screen,
look at it.
You are going to see...
Oh, my hair is still clinging on!
the first ever video that was uploaded to the Off the Shelf Reviews YouTube channel, which at the time was called Hunter's Crow.
Yes.
Like, YouTube wouldn't even let me change the name. Well, when this video went up, we didn't even know we were going to be a review channel anyway. But this was the precursor to how Off the Shelf Reviews even got started. And for those asking, that is not me.
No, that's not Gary.
A few people have asked.
Obviously, that's me.
If that was me, and it's not. But this video is from 13 years ago. And I was at university. I was doing media arts. And in my third year of uni, I was doing a dissertation on Grindhouse. In particular, Doris Wishman, which was one of the only female directors in Grindhouse directing almost softcore porn exploitation.
Yeah, they were great. Made Wonder Woman 84 look good.
And so, but I was fascinated because Doris Wishman, she was one of those directors that whenever it was the nudie scenes, she just set the camera up, hit record, and walked out the room and went, do the scene.
Yeah.
Somebody else will edit together. I'm only going to direct the acting parts. This bit, just do it. And I'll come back when you're done. She was a fascinating lady that directed hundreds of movies. And so I decided, I got fascinated by her. I wanted to do my dissertation on her. Now, one part of the dissertation, instead of doing the mega long essay, you could have done half the essay in video form. And so I wanted to make a film review in reviewing a Doris Wishman film in the style of Doris Wishman. And so you'll see lots of Tarantino-style feet pics, random shots to the wall, and typical Grindhouse style with the bad film and the colours losing contrast, etc. Taking scenes from different moments in the film and inserting them. Like, that's Jess watching the film, now cut back to them talking the film an hour later.
Yes.
So that was the lot of editing things that I did with this video.
Because we all watched the film together.
We did all watch the film together.
And then you just went and go, and we just...
No framework, just...
We just talked about it, and, like... I mean, I suppose that's always been my issue, is that this became absolutely natural.
Yes.
Because you just ignored the camera was in the room. But you also kept in mind that you were going to have... Because you had told us you were going to show this to people in the uni. So it's not like I could just fucking go off on one. But I had to express how I felt about watching a movie where a woman with I want to say large breasts, but then she was a lady in her mid-40s, so they were the developed breasts of a woman in her 40s in the 1970s. And she walked around and just used her boobs in these movies. Like
she had a hidden camera in her boobs, so she would squeeze her boobs, and the film would make the Kodak sound every time she did it, as she was spying.
And you're like, somebody made this film.
Yeah, it was Doris Wishman.
And put it out in cinemas.
Yes, yeah. Now, I made these 2 film reviews, and we uploaded them to YouTube. I left uni. And then I got a job doing photography.
Yeah.
Iain was... You weren't working at that time, actually.
No. I'd done a bunch of different jobs, but then I'd have to take some time off.
But Iain and I were already friends at this point, and 3 years after we did these 2 videos, I kind of just randomly went onto our YouTube channel, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, Deadly Weapons and Double Agent 73, like... They've got a few thousand views.
Yeah, they were 5,000 views at the time, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, not like it had like 20 to 100 in the first like couple of months, and that was because it was being shown at the uni, etc., etc. But yeah, to see the few thousand, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Bit of trivia for you. 90% of all those views came from Germany.
Yeah.
So it was like, interestingly, we've got a huge audience in Germany. I guess our audience there like Doris Wishman, or they like the films that she made. And so we're like, Iain, maybe a few people have told us, like whenever we're at bars or wherever at parties or clubs, we end up dominating a part of the conversation by you and me just talking about films, and not many people could keep up with us. So people were like, you two should film your conversations and put them on the internet.
And we were like, the internet? The
what?
The what now?
I mean, like,
the what and the what where?
My mobile phone.
Looking back, I'm going to take it deep. I'm about to take it deep, so stay with me, right? Looking back, like when we were at the house.
This is the house that you can see on screen now. The shared house? No, not the shared house.
This is the flat. This is the flat that we used to. But
there's the boobs.
The actual big shared house that we used to have. That's where you and I first started to hang out, and we just started to talk about movies, and it was always about the Evil Dead trilogy.
This was 3-4 years before this recording.
Yeah, and it was always about video games and things like that, and we had the chance to hang out with other people, and we were obviously living our lives and doing whatever. But we would dominate conversations then about movies. And from that house, I remember the internet was just first coming in, because we had a computer in there. We were downloading movies, acquiring movies off of the interweb somehow when people put them freely out there by their own choice. But we got a copy of the Fantastic Four movie. That wasn't the Fantastic. It was the one. It was the one pre Captain America, fucking right. And I was like, oh my god! And we were talking about this movie for fucking weeks. So then, as I moved out and you got your own place, you moved in with your girlfriend, and we were still hanging out on Saturday nights and watching different films and things like that, and dominating conversations and talking about it. You'd see the internet and YouTube start to develop.
Yeah. Film reviewers started popping up here and there.
But only a few, but they were popping up here. Somebody was talking about this film and this film and this film and horror and sci-fi and this, that and the next thing. And people said to us, yeah, you should probably do it. And we were like, how? Where do we get this? We need cameras, we need audio equipment, we need a space to record. We basically done this on a...
I got to borrow all of the equipment from uni at the time. Obviously, doing media arts, I had access to all the cameras, audio equipment, and editing software. So, now, granted, I also had a few holdover bits and pieces as well from the time where I was a technician.
Yeah.
So I'd acquired my own camera as well. But all of these early reviews were shot with a multitude of different cameras at different aspect ratios, at different frame rates, at different audio levels. And so some of the early edits on the channel are very, very rough. And I have to say now, like, obviously we eventually got started. The first review on the channel that actually has the thumbnail with off-the-shelf reviews on the thumbnail, doesn't appear in the video itself, was Feast. Our Feast review was the first one to have the off-the-shelf reviews thumbnail, and that one was published on February 28th, 2013. So we're kind of a little bit early. It's the 25th of this recording.
Yeah.
So thereabouts was the first
10
one.
10 years, man.
10 years ago.
Did we do the trilogy?
We haven't done the trilogy. We only did the first one.
Trilogy.
And I watched a part of that Feast review and I was like, this is terrible. This is really terrible. Part of me was just like, unlist to the video.
That's my Hulk mug. That's my Hulk mug.
It's still alive. And you probably also saw this mug in the videos that's playing as well. They've survived years and years and years.
That is the Hulk mug that Gary got me from Universal Studios when he went over to America with his dad and his family.
Yeah,
that is a well-travelled mug that's seen 10 years with us.
Yep. I mean, I love watching this. Like we said, that's Dan and I can't remember Sam and who's
and
the
Dan
other?
Turner.
Yeah. And just
old uni friends. Yeah.
Smoking so much because that's what cool kids. It's indie, isn't it? You know, and.
We're not in a bar, so we can.
It was always in my mind that the essence of off the shelf reviews, or just off the shelf, was this: like 2-3 people sitting around having a chat, because that's basically what people do. And our basis was we would take a film and we would chat about it. You know, but while you're watching the development of the internet and YouTube and all these reviewers come out, you know, you got obviously
Angry Video Game Nerd, Angry Joe,
Angry Joe. You know, so many professionals were coming out with so many good cameras.
That guy.
You know, and you're watching it in America. Was it that guy with glasses?
Yep.
Fucking. You know, you're watching it in America where like people were just throwing money at these people. You know, we're still doing it 10 years later. People are still throwing money. And we're like, okay, let's get off the shelf out there. Watching those numbers.
Oh, it was very slow going, wasn't it? But we celebrated every milestone. 50 views, 100 views, 150 views. Yeah, one view.
One comment.
One comment. Yeah. We savoured every one, and we were like, it didn't seem like at the beginning we were getting much traction, but we were like, we're having fun with this, so we'll keep doing some more. We'll do some more.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, we were obviously being so underground. I mean, like you said, the first ones we did, John Dies at the End.
John Dies at the End is one of the earliest videos, and again...
do you know what? I haven't seen that movie in 10 years.
10 years now,
and yet I still remember when his hand goes out and grabs that cock.
The door handle turns into a doorknob. Like a human knob.
Oh my fucking god. Cockneys versus Zombies, like we said, like
it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, what was it?
It's one of those lost videos.
I purposely bought it on DVD. Is the story of Riccio?
Yes,
one of the greatest fucking movies ever made.
That was one of Jess's first appearances on the film reviews. Was in the story of Riccio.
Like that shit makes Endgame look tame, man. He punches the guy's arm down, and it's just bone and gore.
Well, yeah. One day, how many reviews did you misplace?
We have probably lost about 20 videos over the course of the 10 years, and that was due to corrupted hard drives, copyright takedowns, and a poor filing system by me.
Shit happens.
And so, yeah, it's very unfortunate, but there is only, of all those videos, there's still one that I really wish we still had, and that was Vanishing Point.
Oh,
it's one of my favourite films of all time, and I felt like we did such a poignant, perfectly pitched review for that one that when it was lost and I couldn't find the original folder on any external hard drive anywhere, I was pretty gutted about that one. And it's always the one that I'm like, we'll redo that one day. But
did that get taken down from copyright?
It got taken down for copyright, right? So I deleted it to save getting a strike on the channel, thinking I'd go back to the folder, but that folder got corrupted. In that folder, we lost a review that Ian did with Dylan. We lost the Poltergeist trilogy review we did with Linda. We lost the V for Vendetta review, which never even went live on the channel. Never even went live, and that one's lost.
That was crazy because the V for Vendetta one, we were aiming to get it up for the 5th of November as like a fucking celebration, and funnily enough, it went up. It got copyrighted by YouTube. They're like, you gotta take it down. So we were like, okay, we'll go back and work on it. And then every time we were trying to get it past copyright, they were like, nope. And we were like, hang on. I was like, hang on a minute. This seems suspicious. Like, we can get anything past them, but V for Vendetta is taking such a hit. We might as well have just put, like, we might as well have not, you know.
Well, I don't know. I think there may be something in there where you could just do all of these lost reviews in one kind of conga line of reviews.
Oh, mate, we could easily
go Gary
back
has to have
the thing is, they would not be the same Yeah, if we did a Chronicles, they would not be the reviews that we do every Thursday.
They can't be that. They can't be that.
Like watching Vanishing
Point.
Like
Tears in the Rain, Gary.
Like watching Vanishing Point again and doing another review again, we'd hit it fucking nails on the head because Vanishing Point is just fucking ace. Like, I love it. Gary loves it. We'd watch it again and give it its own thing.
I think it'd be nice just to go, here's the 20 lost reviews in one sitting.
In one video.
And I'm trying to get it within like
when we
40 minutes or 20 minutes.
What was it, on the sofa?
Yeah, the sofa. Yeah,
you know, we were sat there on the sofa doing that. Like like I said, when we did the trilogy with Linda, Caroline, we did a montage in the Poltergeist 3 video. The first one's great, the second one's awesome, the third one sucked dick, but we had an amazing montage of just
all the Caroline shout-outs in the film. Now, I just want to take a small pause moment here and just play back a video and share some memories. This video I made it unlisted about 5 years ago.
Right.
Because I started to feel a bit cringy. Like, knowing that this may be the first thing that some people see on the channel. I was like, maybe it's time to hide this one and redo a new one, or not have it at all anymore. So if you'd just like to take a moment, we're going to go and cut away to this old chestnut that some of you, if you've been around on the YouTube channel long enough, might remember this. Let me just load this up. I'll rewind it and unmute it as well. Here we go. Ian.
What?
You're not going to believe this.
What?
I've got a superpower.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
Whenever I talk about a film,
Yeah.
film footage just appears whatever I'm talking about. Look, check this out.
Okay.
You remember the scene in Terminator when the Terminator comes into the police station and he gets told to come back later and he says he'll be back?
I'll be back.
Whoa. See?
Weird.
See? Do you remember when Sigourney Weaver is facing off against the alien queen and she says,
"Get away from her, you bitch!"
Okay, let me try it.
You try it.
So it's like when Thomas J and Vader kissing my girl.
2, 2.5, 3.
What the f***, dude? Use your powers for something good. With great power comes great responsibility.
So what, like we should, bring peace to the world and show them that, there's more to life than films and stuff like that?
No, we should review movies. Welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews, everyone.
Ace.
What a blast from the past.
Fucking
both
ace.
in our white shirts. I don't think we ever both wore the white shirts in any actual film review.
Yeah, I've worn mine quite a lot. I've worn it out. I actually need to buy a new one.
And, yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got my face one, which obviously I absolutely love. But I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I was the one who choreographed that one, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
I mean, we had to come up with an intro video. We had to obviously expand and put something together, and we thought about it for fucking ages, doing up all this ideas. like we've been messing around with that zombie idea for ages. There was a zombie idea we wanted to do back at Gary's old flat, where it was a case of like we'd go out, get movies, and come back and review them during a zombie apocalypse, but we couldn't. We didn't have the time. We didn't have the budget. We didn't have the cameras.
Needed money to do zombie makeup every week.
So obviously, coming back and trying to do an intro video was like, well, we're just gonna have to do something like what? And I was just like, look, let's just sit on the sofa and we'll just fucking. You'll come in and you'll start talking to me. And this is what you're saying, and we'll just put footage up like what we do, and then you do this, and then I'll say something, and it will just be a joke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's do that. And we did it. We threw it together.
Yeah.
And the backing scene was because I had a wall of DVDs. Gary had a wall of DVDs. There's still 2 boxes of DVDs and Blu-ray
Unpacked. Nobody watches them. They're collecting dust over centuries.
They're safe. They'll gain value. I think it's a long-term investment.
Yeah,
and if you look on top, off shot right now, there's a monolith to the avarice of our love for collectibles.
Well, that's it. We just had this idea, like I said, of trying to review movies, and I remember as well, like we initially were just going to just do horror, because that's what kind of we liked. But then when it became the idea of, well, first off, we can't just stick to horror because obviously Terminator, Aliens, things
And
like that.
I think I butted in and went, look, now then I'm happy to step in and do a review, but I don't just want to review horror.
That's it.
I'm a man. I love. Well, we all love all
Sorry,
types
Jess.
of films.
Well, we love.
No, but
I gave you was Lovecraft horror.
Yeah, no, I love Lovecraftian horror, but I do. We have reviewed other films.
Yeah,
weird
like,
and wonderful and strange.
Like Gary and I always discussed that it was great that the two of us could talk, but I also like the idea of having a third.
Yes, if you go back to our earliest videos, we had Jeff Connett, John Cohen, David Binmore, Justine Hardy, Hannah Hawkey, Jez Montgomery.
Yeah.
I think one of the
all as regulars for the first year. It was Ian, myself, and a guest.
Yeah.
I did feel that at a certain point now, because this is a low-key production, I always felt it's better it was just you two. And that's why in many ways I said to it early on, I didn't want to...
that's where the dynamic lay, but, you know, I like the idea of getting a third in, but only on
guest
certain
starring,
things. You know, like I said, when Gary was saying, like...
And now and then, if you don't want to...
You're trying to convince Gary to do any movie that wasn't, you know, in this category of... I'm watching this, dude. I'm only watching this. I'm like, okay, but if we put it out on YouTube and try to get traction and attention from people, they're going to make us want to watch some fucked up shit. I mean, Serbian movie had fucking dropped and everybody was talking about it and we still hadn't done it in 10 years. And I would wrong word, sorry. I would rip that movie apart because certain movies should and shouldn't be done, and trying to convince somebody as well to come in to do a movie, like trying to get Andy in to do The Black Hole.
Yeah.
Disney's Black Hole, dude.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I just want to quickly throw out some numbers as well. After the 10 years.
10 years.
As of the 25th of February 2023, we have 532 review videos in the movie playlist folder. We have 226 Gaming Friday videos, 52 podcasts, and 918 videos in total on the YouTube channel.
It's a lot, dude.
It's quite a bit, isn't it, really?
Bit of an archive.
I mean, a lot of people would say, well, there are bigger channels and there are bigger people doing things and they've got bigger productions. And I totally get that. And I would love to say, hey, you know, tomorrow we're just going to quit our jobs, or, well, I quit my job. I mean, you know, this is Gary's job. And I, you know, take out loan after loan and throw as much money into it and just do that. But from day one, you know, and I said I was going to take it deep. From day one, you know, when I mentioned it to the wife, you know, Linda, love you, that I wanted to do a film review channel with Gary, it was like, okay, but you have a family to take care of, you have work, you have responsibilities, you know, the idea of doing this to everybody is, oh yeah, you just throw money at it and time and all of a sudden you're just a huge success. But I always understood the idea of, well, if I immediately do, and I'm not saying I would, but it will bring me to a film in a minute, actually. What do I talk about? If I amazingly just became a huge, massive celebrity overnight, you know, and there were people chasing me down the street like the fucking Beatles, how would that affect my life with Linda and my newborn son that was coming along at the time? How would that work with Gary? You know, all this kind of stuff. So instead...
It's fine, I don't go outside.
yeah, that's it. 10 years he's not going outside. But weirdly enough, at the same time, while keeping it low-key, while keeping it really basic, kind of basic at a level where it's just a bunch of people just chatting and being honest and just talking shit, instead of just being the over-the-top, shall I say it, KSIs and fucking Logan Pauls of the
you're
world.
Also not
who
playing...
are successes, I will say that, but so's Andrew Tate and fucking Jeffrey Epstein if they're fucking talking that shit.
The problem is, you also didn't want to bend the review format to the perfect algorithm.
Yeah, it had to
where
be
you've got to be a
about
5-minute video that's just going to be...
And release one daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The review had to be about the film. We had to get the audience, and that's always been kind of the key over the 10 years, is the audience enjoying or not enjoying whatever it is that we're talking about. Because we are just talking about this film, and then this film, and then this film. Like I remember saying to Gary like 10 years ago, saying, you know what, I'd really like to do Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple. And the look on his face was like, what? What the fuck, dude? Like, the audience is gonna want to watch that. And I'm thinking, it's Steven Spielberg. It's a fucking Oscar-winning movie. Like, this is like major talking material there. And he's like, no, we're gonna do the Child's Play trilogy. So instead, I watched Seed of Chucky. and watch Glenn and Glenda fucking disembowel Redman. I'm like, yeah, the audience is loving this shit.
They are. Yeah, I mean, it was the early days of the channel, so I was doing everything that most people would do at that time. You go on YouTube being like, how do you start a business? How do you start a YouTube channel? How do you start a film review channel? What equipment do I buy? What sound equipment do I buy? How do I edit it? What's the running time? How do I understand the analytics? Where do I promote the videos? Like, all of that stuff was just like I had no idea. I was a photographer or a secondary school technician teacher. I was like, this is all something I don't really understand. So it was a whole learning curve. But one of the things I going for member berries here, that I remember the earliest parts of the channel was that I was originally the sole editor for the channel.
Yes.
And
because I was working all the time.
Ian was very busy working, and so we had a few friends at the time that were like, I will share the editing responsibilities with you. Perchance you become more successful and can pay me down the line. I was like, unlikely right now, but I would need somebody to help with the editing. And for a couple of months, Ian and I spent lots of quality time as friends. And I was teaching Ian how to edit.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I
was
fucking
great,
loved it. Because I'd seen the pressure you were under, trying to edit the reviews the way weekly, and the way you wanted to do them so well. Because we were on 2 cameras at a time. You know, we had the audio mic, we were getting guests in, it was all organisation, it was all prepping, you know, it was all managing, it was all this, all that. And I looked at it and I was just like, this is going to break him. Like, you're going to stop.
It is the one issue with not getting to that certain level where you could hire an external editor.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
because
that's a benefit. It's always the dream that you want to get big but not too big. Maybe
at the time, the internet gave off this crazy idea that you just became an immediate success overnight, and people were going to throw money at you. And funny enough, at the time when he was editing it, and before I wanted to take on the editing idea, like I said, I'm married, I've got a kid. I've got work, you know, I could easily just throw things to the side and just concentrate on what's important, but I'm enjoying this with my friend, we've got it organised. In a way, I had to grab the bull by the horns and say, look, I'll help you edit. I will come over on certain days, you're going to show me. I almost, at one point, said to him, dude, you remember Ed TV? Ed TV, that was the film I was going to bring up. Ed TV with Matthew McConaughey, where literally he just puts a fucking camera on himself for 24 hours a fucking day. It's a whole movie. I was going to fucking do that shit. I'm not fucking kidding. Because this is before TikTok.
Yeah, it is.
This is before Facebook fucking videos. This is before everybody was on the line 24 hours a fucking day. I was like, I could make so much money from this. But how do
Truman Show, Ian Show.
Truman Show, Ian fucking show. I was going to do it, but at the same time, while I'm learning how to edit it all, I'm thinking, how do I integrate this? Because immediately he's going to tell me I'm a crazy motherfucker.
You're a crazy motherfucker.
Linda is going to fucking be like, leave me alone. I had all these different ideas, like you would only watch me from this time to this time and this time and this time, and I would do this and do this. I would even go into work, and obviously people would be like, you can't be in work, and it'd be like, well, what is this? This is my freedom. This is my life. I can put a camera on me if I want to. You know, who's going to stop me from walking down the street? But then you're integrating with every other human. So then I'm like, maybe I'll just learn to edit and see how I go from there. You know? And so learn to edit, taking the videos back, you know. Harry showing me how the sound recorder works and putting the intro. You know, that's when I started to go, okay, I get where we're going. We need a bass line. We need an intro. We need the music, we need the film,
and you need your format, because let's be honest, compare your format to others. You've got video essayers out there who'll break down films and sometimes just break down scenes even.
Those are there, and those I found on YouTube vary in quality significantly from some that are intellectual and some that are just kind of the reaction YouTube subgenre that blew up.
That's something that's risen in maybe the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, no, weirdly enough, it's always been around. Like, Angry Joe is a reactionist.
No.
He's both. He's both.
But not reacting to another YouTuber.
Angry video game nerd is like an intellectual reviewer. But he's taken time. Like, we've always said over the years, if a movie, like we were saying this back in the day, if a movie was older than 10 years... we could easily spoil and talk about the story deeper than a movie that we've literally just watched. So like when we went and watched the Evil Dead remake, you know, while we're doing the channel, all of a sudden, boom, the Evil Dead remake has been released. We've practically watched the 3 original movies to fucking death.
Yeah.
So why would we not, even as not film reviewers, not go and see this movie, come home and talk about it? So now we're going to come back and we're going to put the camera on us. But then we're like, holy shit, not everybody's going to go to the cinema on the day and watch the film. But you want to hit the hype right. So we had to do it in the first 2 weeks of the Evil Dead movie coming out and try and get a review out. But it was a reaction. It wasn't like if we sat down to watch RoboCop 1.
Yeah.
That we've seen since we were like fucking 12
Well, an
years old.
analysis allows you to speak more freely of the details where you actually...
Yeah.
Also, those video essayists, they usually do one video every 6 months.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, the top tier ones where you're talking about the real cream of the crop. Those guys... And I think I'd seen it before. It came up for Venture Brothers, a show that is getting a final movie apparently.
Yeah.
It is very good.
It's been out for a long time.
I love Venture Brothers. It predates the channel, I think, because it's one of the longest running Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Venture Brothers crazy. It's the first animation style was like Ren and Stimpy art style. It wasn't quite that crazy, but it was a similar quality, if that makes sense. Early Ren and Stimpy. I think it must have been 2000s. It must have started. But anyway,
reaction
slightly off
videos,
topic.
yeah.
But the point I'm making is somebody did a beautiful essay on it.
Yeah.
And again, it was like an hour love poem to that show.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing as well with length. It's like people will say, "Oh, I'm not going to listen to you talk about Adventure Brothers for an hour."
Well,
it's like
TikTok,
somebody will listen because they are a fan.
Good enough, there'll be an audience.
Well, not even that. Somebody can be a fan and go right. Like nowadays, especially with technology the way it is. Like look at us now with Twitch. Somebody's a fan and says like, I've got an hour, I just want to chill, I'm going to listen to the back history of the Venture Brothers. I'm going to listen to an essay of the alien theory life cycle.
Yeah.
There's like, you could have like 1 million videos out there telling you the time travel history, comparing Back to the Future and the Terminator. Somebody's going to listen to it. Somebody's going to take the time to put it down and say, I'm going to ingest it.
It was the myth in early YouTube, and like we said, there's certain ways to get the algorithm to play your game. Because the algorithm...
The algorithm's a fucking cunt.
But it is.
I'll fucking tell you.
No, but it is.
Don't do them to me. I play the algorithm every fucking week.
It's about the 2 minute... It thinks it's about 2 minutes. But who's the most successful podcaster in the world? Joe Rogan. And he runs 3... No, don't worry about whether or not you like him. But it's a 3-hour podcast. There is an audience out there for long form. My point is about the form. It's the long...
I got it.
Yeah.
That motherfucker can't review a movie if he save his fucking life. So fuck Joe Rogan. Gary, what's next?
But no,
well, I just want to...
You're Joe Rogan of YouTube.
Just going
to
talk briefly again about the history of the channel, but if those earliest film reviews, like John Dies at the End, Feast, and a couple of others, Cockneys versus Zombies, some of our earliest film reviews on the channel were before we were actually partnered with YouTube, so those videos were broken down into 10-minute chunks, which was just a pain. So some of the reviews ended up just being 10 minutes long. And we felt like we had to rush and condense everything we wanted to say in those 10 minutes. Eventually, once we got over 1,000 subscribers, at that time we were able to partner with YouTube, set up an AdSense, which, you know, it took like another couple of years before we even got our first pay slip from AdSense. But then we also set up our Patreon page, and lo and behold, the first few Patreons came in, and up until that point, Ian and I chose the film reviews that we would do. So, you know, we chose like Demolition Man, the Flight of Dragons.
We argued
week by week
what we
wanted to do. But eventually the Patreons took over the channel. That was the way we intended it. It stopped us arguing what we were going to do.
It didn't stop us arguing.
No, it didn't.
We look at the list and we go, we're going to do that? Okay, but we should probably do that first because that'll make more sense when it comes around. Because it's... Like, I like to think we've had seasons. Over the 10 years, I like to think that we've had seasons.
You definitely have had phases.
Season 1 was at the set that we looked at earlier on video. Season 2 was on the orange sofa. And Season 3 is you and me on the chairs now with the spine of DVDs in the middle of us. So who knows where Season 4 will start. And the new set. Well, currently Jess is in the process of buying a house that
Yeah.
I live in.
We'll see.
So there may be a future
everything goes
set.
to plan.
I have always been looking at trying to get another set. I am actually decorating my dining room at the moment, so we might have to look into sorting out that green screen finally.
No, I know green screen backgrounds are horrible. I have so much extra work.
I so want to do that bit from Wayne's World where it's like, we're in Delaware as an intro. Because we haven't even done Wayne's World. We haven't even done Wayne's World 2. We haven't done
the first one.
No, and this is where I phase out of it. Like, I like Wayne's World, but it's not what I consider the best of.
Yeah, but no. But
Bohemian Rhapsody scene.
That's
about it for me.
My point being, like, over 10 years and what? How many did you say?
I know you review
500
variables,
films
Yeah.
and stuff. Honestly, as a film reviewer and an entertainer, I've been here. We haven't even scratched the fucking surface.
And you never will.
Of movies.
We won't.
But that's the brilliant. Well, we will.
When are you doing cocaine?
We will.
Cocaine Bear.
We will
Whatever
when the BBC and Sky and Netflix all come knocking at the door going, man, you guys are fucking some badass reviewers. We need a film review every single day. And we get up at 9, we review. Mate, I tell you, we've got it down to a system now that if we had time, we could probably get a review out every 3 days. Well, no, because obviously there's a system that obviously
Hire an editor, it'll take less time.
Now you say that. I do edit,
Hire a team of
so
editors.
I know. So you can sit there and say hire a team of editors and all that kind of stuff. I do that. There's heart. You've got to put heart into it. That's my thing.
Yeah.
You've got to put heart
Honesty
into it.
as well.
Honesty.
That was one thing we've always said. We're not kowtowing to whatever the popular opinion is. Every video that Ian and I has done has been our own words and how we have responded and felt. It's
even
completely
yours.
honest.
Like you say that, like the 6 months that you were there with. Was it 6 months? Yeah, 6 months.
COVID time.
With Gary, through a pandemic, through a motherfucking pandemic, while the whole world was going through this whole change, we were like, how do we keep this show going?
When we're not allowed to see each other for however long.
Like I said, at the time and this whole time, I'm still been working this whole time, keeping the family going and stuff like that, balancing the reviews and editing, and filming, and now all of a sudden, legally, I can't even enter the house.
No, that's weird.
So we obviously had to come up with a system where you and Gary were safe to interact and watch films, and then Gary would pass me the memory stick file through like a box system where I don't touch
some
it.
French Connection crazy.
And then I'd have, even then, like I remember the wife being like, if the police stop you, and I'm like, I know, like it felt like martial
Smuggling
USB
cards
films. It's like, watch
files.
this film. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna get out of jail because I fucking castle freak. Fuck's sake. But what I'm saying is, like, you were honest. You had to watch the film, and then you had to sit down with Gary for like 30, 40 minutes and talk about.
Castle freak. Woo. But then I also got pleasures like Colour Out of Space, which
absolutely
is an awesome film.
Did you do Moontrap and Mind Warp with him?
Yes,
you did. And Bruce Campbell, those movies, I was editing those movies. I love the death sequences. The look on your face was like, what am I fucking watching? I could be watching Wonder Woman 1984 and I'm watching Moontrap.
It's funny how the slippery slope just keeps going sometimes. Wonder Woman has some flaws, but woo!
So there's another thing that I do want to. I look back on them and I'm proud of the videos that we made.
Okay.
But I was always struggling to maintain them on a weekly basis, which is one of the reasons why Gaming Fridays kind of, I had to put a stop into it because I felt like I wasn't able to give those Gaming Fridays as much time as the film reviews because we were... The recording time windows for Ian and I to collaborate were so tight. It felt like a rush job sometimes to get the notes ready, to get the footage ready, and get them edited and rendered at the same time as the film reviews.
That was because you kind of wanted to take the Gaming Fridays into a more professional kind of view.
I liked the 30-minute segment of just the first 30 minutes of gameplay, but I wanted to play the whole game, have footage of the whole game, and edit to the points that we talk about.
And that was amazing.
Impossible on a weekly basis.
I know, and it's ironically what Twitch has filled that void in this.
It has now, exactly.
Yeah, it has.
It has become an absolute evolution.
But he also would say to me, right, I need you to sit down and play this game. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, you want me to play Lion King in 30 minutes? And he's like, yeah, don't die. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I was being made to sit down after I just sat down for like up to to 40 minutes to an hour
It's
reviewing a film,
it does make me think
emotionally
it's-
charged.
yeah.
I think there was even one
It's a
where...
celebrity deathmatch moment, mate. I just could see the old ringmaster.
Like, I swear there was one review where Gary and I obviously did fucking argue like hell over the film. You know, and how we both felt about it. And then it was like, right, you're ready to record this game now. And I was almost fucking wanted to kill him with the joypad. But in my mind, I'm like, no, just sit and play the game.
It would
And
increase the
hello,
view.
welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews. This Game of Friday. I'm really fucking monoid right now. And I'm going.
Yeah, so I mean, never say never to Gaming Fridays. There's still a couple of videos that I would still like to do in the vein of the old Gaming Fridays.
Yeah, but you put them on Twitch now.
But now that I am on Twitch, it has for me filled that void.
A little bit more of a narrative structure.
And so to finally put an end to the Gaming Fridays. But I'm glad of all the ones that we did. We got to talk about a lot of the games that we wanted to talk about from nostalgia. I also remember we did a lot of what we called the Sequential Saturday. Which was a 30-minute episode every Saturday, playing one game start to finish. And we played The Thing through, Shell Shock, Predator, Alien Isolation.
Shell Shock crashed.
It kept crashing at one point.
Give it up. We started Catherine. Catherine was a classic. Catherine was amazing. The Go Sleep In box. I loved that game. I was starting to really get the grips of it. And this motherfucker was going for a stage of not smoking. And I'm like, oh, okay, you don't want to keep swapping. Because, like I said, he's making me play. And I'm like, dude, you need to play as well. And he's like, I can't play. And I'm like, oh, okay, but I can't keep playing because, like, we need to make
But you've got to if you want this video to keep going.
Yeah, we need to make this fun. We need to... And he's just like, oh, fucking trying to game. And that's what's funny to lead to now 10 years later with the Twitch, where it's just like, Gary's just like, I'm going to go on Twitch and play games now. And I'm like...
So
really?
So Gary's now going to play Catherine, you're saying?
No, possibly, yes. He's done Colonial Marines.
You've heard it, ladies and gentlemen, here. It's Catherine on
Mate, I've had my ramps with The Thing and fucking, Evil Dead, Hail to King with no fucking saves. No fucking saves I had on that bad boy. It's Evil Dead, Catherine.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not streaming anything ever.
Can't believe you brought that up.
Yeah, all right. Right, I think it's time to cut away here. I've got a video that I've spliced together for you guys that I'd like to share with you. Now, the video I feel is a little bit overlong. Like, as an editor, I'm like, the video's too long. But I've rushed it together as quick as I can.
But this... play at 1.5 speed.
This will kind of serve as a small throwback to the evolution of the channel. You're going to see the old intros all the way up to the most fairly new set. But I hope you enjoy this video, and we'll see you in just a moment. Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Gary. Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews. It's your hosts Ian and Gary.
Hello.
Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I am immortal. I have inside me the blood of kings.
And I'm Gary.
I'm a Trekkie.
And I'm Gary.
I question sometimes why we do this.
And I'm Gary.
I've been in a bag all night.
And I'm Gary.
I have a class 2 rating.
And I'm Gary.
I'm on drugs.
And I'm Gary.
I need $500.
And I'm Gary.
I love hot dogs. Armour hot dogs. The dogs kids love to buy.
And I'm Gary.
I've never really liked my neighbours.
And I'm Gary.
I'm Ted Raimi in a mask.
And I'm Gary.
I should have cancelled my online subscription a while ago.
And I'm Gary.
I'm... Sorry?
And I'm Gary.
I'm the guy who gave the tall man his powers.
And I'm Gary.
I can't get no satisfaction.
And I'm Gary.
I will eat your heart.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss The Exorcist. Ian, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Fuck me! Fuck me!
I'm actually lost for words.
And I'm Gary.
I was one of the original 7 samurai.
And I'm Gary.
I hope I give you the shits.
And I'm Gary.
Wo Shi Sun Wukong.
And I'm Gary.
I'm sat next to Wayne Grove.
And I'm Gary.
I'll tear your soul apart.
And I'm Gary.
I'm the Eater of Worlds.
And I'm Gary.
I've always hated you, Cooper.
And I'm Gary.
I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Yeah, oh yeah.
And I'm Gary.
I'm pretty sure Gary's been watching me while I sleep.
And I'm Gary.
I was the head of the Arrowhead project.
And I'm Gary.
I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to look like that, Gary.
And I am Gary.
I had nightmares after this.
And I'm Gary. Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I am the wisdom that is Ian.
And I'm Gary. Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I'm after those bare necessities.
And I'm Gary.
I've got nothing bad to say about this film.
And I'm Gary.
I can't get no satisfaction. I was born in a crossfire hurricane, and I see a red door, and I want to paint it black.
And I'm Gary.
I think I smell demonic infestation.
And I'm Gary.
I don't have any feelings.
And I'm Gary.
I definitely think 3's too much.
And I'm Gary.
I'm going to kill them all, sir.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review... Hello, welcome to... I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to do it.
It's a problem.
Oh, good. Okay.
Do you want me to?
No, it's all right, I got it. Just...
I don't know if you wait for me or not.
No, I'm waiting for me.
I brought soup.
And I'm Gary.
I really can't wait to hear Gary's view on this one.
And I'm Gary.
I'm back, baby!
And I'm Gary.
I'm pretty sure Death still owes me money.
And I'm Gary.
I wish every Friday was a Friday.
And I'm Gary.
I just want to say hello again.
And I'm Gary.
Oh, Madonna, you did all right.
What a trip!
How amazing is that?
That did take a little while to put
we
together.
screwed up, 'cause, like, when
I
did you
hope
and me,
you
it's
guys
like,
enjoyed
you're
that
like,
little video
I am
montage.
Jess. Gary? No, wait, who's Gary?
Oh, by the way, I'm Gary.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, the scanners one. Should have had the scanners one. And
There were so
when they're not
many.
together, yeah, the best bit is when you break that. It's just like it gets crazy because I'm
Man.
like, when me and Gary did him during lockdown, I don't do that because I'm more of a quiet creature.
Man, I remember also like the I'd say call it the convergence, the change from obviously the flat to the house.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so moving from one sofa set to another sofa set and trying to get it all work. And we come up with the idea, didn't we? It was just like we had films coming up, but we had Fido and we had Warm Bodies on the list. Now,
Yes.
Fido is the Billy Connolly zombie movie
Yeah.
from the 1950s with Carrie-Anne Moss, and Warm Bodies is the Nicholas Hoult movie where he's a zombie. And I remember just saying to Gary, like, dude, what if like we get Jeff in to be in the Fido review. You know, my wife had just gone out on Halloween as well, and she'd made collars with her and her friend to wear as the zombies. We could borrow that, colour him up, because we knew a guy that could do some zombie paint, Big Tony, that we used to get in for Mortal
Smart
Kombat
effects, yeah.
and Predator. You know, we could get him to throw some makeup on, give him some money, and then Jeff attacks us, kills us in the video, and then in the next video we're stumbling into the house, because in Warm Bodies the way you brought the zombies back was to re-engage their memories. So I came up with this whole idea as well, that we would edit in sequences of things that we'd like as we came in and flopped into the sofa. It's like a whole transition, motherfucker. Yeah, man, we'll put some ideas into this shit.
Yeah.
You know,
It's tricky because that's a lot of prep work, a lot of work.
you got to make it fun. You got to
Yeah.
catch it in the first 6 weeks of doing Off the Shelf. And like I said, that's the first 6 film reviews that were just parts. People were saying like, "Oh, you've got to grab people's attention. You've got to try and grab their attention with skits and fancy artwork and this." And you do. The glitz and glamour captures people. You cannot lie.
Absolutely. As we
You
said,
know,
there's ways to play to the not
The-
even the
the
audience,
more
sorry,
basic
to play
something-
to the system.
the more basic something looks, the less interest it kind of gets. Even if it's wholeheartedly and sweet and all that kind of, you really have to look past it,
Yeah.
don't you? It's true. But I remember saying to Gary, like, because we had our intro, you know, Gary would say hello, you know, and I would say hello because, you know,
it's your hosts, Iain and Gary.
I wanted to be polite. I wanted to be inviting. I wanted to be everything that, you know, you kind of want to be. But you needed to grab the audience's attention. So that's when I started to go, all right, I'm going to come up with some crazy shit. And my challenge after the first one was to make him crack as soon as we hit the camera.
I think you've done it twice in 10 years.
No, I've done it more than twice.
Okay.
I've done it more than twice because the thing is, like now, like with the podcast right now, we're recording it kind of live.
Yeah,
we kind of edit out a bit, and with the film reviews, we structure it as well.
Well, with when we were in the early days when you and I were had a disagreement.
Yeah,
well,
it would go for 45 minutes.
It was another reason I actually took a step back because I was like,
because you transitioned like a motherfucker, and we got to bring you back.
No, and you know, it's because I think I have a slightly different position in terms of I like to argue.
You have your own style
yes.
and way of presenting yourself, Jess, which it's different. So, like when we're not used to working with you in front of on camera, live, unrehearsed, as we do, like you kind of have to feel it
right
out.
now. It's probably for the best.
But it did also work. But it did also work with us because, like I said, Gary and I had to stay fresh. So bringing in you and Justine and Linda and Jeff and John and this person and that person was to make the conversation more fresh because you and I are going to argue for fucking an hour back and forth of our stances.
Honestly,
on our views
if people extended
of the subject,
we'll,
and you'll sit there and be like, "Man, I gotta edit this fucking shit," and they're just wobbling. I'm cutting all this. This is me cutting all my footage.
And sometimes, and I've spoken to Gary about it as well because sometimes one of us will just go off on a tangent. And it isn't always me, but
I'm editing. I'm like, what was the point of your tangent?
I bring sometimes I bring the worst out of you as well because we're both like stubborn in our own little ways.
Yeah, but I always knew when I was with you that I had to bring it back with Gary back to the film. You had to focus on the film.
Sometimes it was actually relevant, and you wouldn't let me finish the point because I knew you were trying
you had to get the people's attention in the first 5 minutes. So I would get a crazy intro going, try to blow Gary, and then we would wing the rest of the review just chatting.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think sometimes it works and sometimes that doesn't. But if you're doing an open stream like this, it's much easier nowadays.
Yeah.
And you haven't got to worry about the edit.
Yeah.
Well, worrying about the edit, that was something that, going back to the sort of production history behind the scenes, there were so many videos that we also lost due to copyright. Now, at least now, our system on YouTube is completely changed after I've been to self-taught myself copyright school.
Yeah.
To learn the ins and outs and know my legal standing on YouTube as a British person, because the laws are different around the world in terms of fair use and in terms of copyright and whatnot. So usually when a video was claimed on YouTube, that's it. I have to delete the video. It goes back into the editing board. It gets the bit that they've told us was too long. Gets edited down. It gets re-rendered. Takes hours. Gets re-uploaded. Takes hours. Gets re-texted, re-thumbnailed, re-released. Then 2 days later, YouTube hits the video again with a different segment.
Yeah.
And I said it at one point. The one that broke me was the Alien review, the first Alien review. That video got re-edited more than 150 times. That's 150 re-edits, 150 re-renders, and 150 re-uploads on one video. And that was happening over and over and over and over again.
These are reviews where you're good to it. I mean,
oh yes,
but the system has changed over time, and we've learned with the system that, like, I'll admit, honestly, I hate going onto YouTube and finding films that people are talking about where it's just all footage.
Yeah.
I want to know the person's honest opinion, and I can only do that when I'm actually looking at the person. Sometimes it's just too honest when you get, like I said, people like, I don't really watch all the time, but people like Angry Joe and this guy with glasses, where they are just literally screaming.
They're cartoon characters.
They are cartoon characters screaming at me that I should never watch Batman Forever again, and I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna watch it now. But I want an honest opinion from somebody, and then that's when you actually start to delve into the history of the film, and that's I feel.
I think.
Well, hold on. But I always feel that when three or four or five, whatever people are talking about a film, you can get emotional. But if you take your stance, and the internet is a hazardous place for it. When you take the stance that your opinion matters over everybody else, over every other, like, evidence that stands there, you know, you really have to make the stance. I found that personally, like, I like certain films and can argue my stance for it, like our thing with Wonder Woman 84 earlier, comparing it to any movie that Marvel was released over 10 years. I take that stance because, like, personally, I watched Alien 3 as a kid on TV because I couldn't go to the cinema because I was too young, and I couldn't get it on video from the video shop because nobody would rent it to me. I've loved Alien, I loved Aliens, and now I'm watching Alien 3, and I've read all this bad press that it's one of the worst fucking movies ever made, and it's just an abomination and all this. And I sat down and I watched Alien 3, and I'm like, who are these fucking assholes saying this? Because this is amazing. This sits brilliantly into this trilogy. At the moment, it was a trilogy, you know, because Ripley has gone on her journey. She has died at the end of this. Boom, done. This series is done. I now need to talk to somebody about this movie, right? And nobody else wants to talk about Alien 3.
I could come up against you on that one.
You can. That's the point.
But I wouldn't. The problem is, I wouldn't. Just to be straight, I wouldn't be absolutely burning it to the ground because I really love parts of Alien 3.
Mate, Alien 3 is so good, they went back and released it again with the other
But they released all of them. All four of them got director's cuts.
But that's what I'm saying.
But then again, go back and watch Blade Runner, the famous first version.
Exactly, Blade Runner's
another one. It's not great, the first version.
Since the first time of watching Blade Runner that I watched on a Saturday night, 10 o'clock when I was a kid, with adverts and all that other shit in my bedroom under a fucking quilt, you know, enjoying myself as a kid. Like, since then, I've watched like 17 different fucking versions of Blade Runner in all multiple different formats. There's been a fucking sequel that fucking allowed me to stand next to my friend and go, ha! He's not a fucking replicant. And he goes, it doesn't exist.
It's still ambiguous.
The writers and the directors all disagree.
But you have to have that stance. You know, like a lot of films nowadays is just people getting emotional and then they take to the internet, they attack it, they talk about it, but they move on. And I found I
love a few film critic channels.
As entertainment moves, your opinion changes. And I'll say right now, looking back at 10 years on the channel, dude, sometimes I'll fucking go on record now. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, man, I'm totally wrong on that movie.
But this is the thing about here's the interesting. You guys taking that position because I'm not again talking of another channel. I passingly and literally I don't watch a great deal of him. Critical Drinker, and he said he broke big when he came out with a harsh take on. Which film was he ranting about? He wasn't like super overboard, but he was drunk and ranted about one film, and it blew up on the internet because the YouTube algorithm pays you off for being angry.
I'll give you an example of a counter to that we've had recently.
Go on.
We put up a review for The Keep by Michael Mann, which is fucking outstanding movie.
Yeah, great film.
That movie in itself, its view account has absolutely fucking
smashed every other normal video.
Every movie in the last.
And it's not even that's crazy.
It smashed all of the different horror, the horror series that we did last year, which is usually our biggest thing. Somehow The Keep has gone. Because
the algorithm's just doing what it likes.
Or people have watched it and then people are sharing it, but they're not sharing it on a huge scale like you want to do. Like Terminator 3. Terminator 1 and 2 are amazing movies, but they did not
Terminator
have
3 million views. People want to watch people be angry about a movie that they are also angry about because
but
it's almost cathartic.
We're not. I was going to say, Gary, but maybe he is right. Maybe there is an appetite in a sense now because we've come around the whiplash of the kind of we live in an age now where some of these channels are now fueled by rage against the corp. I mean, it's fair arguments. These corporations are pumping out so much content.
We
have reasons to be angry, but
trying to keep
channel
honest.
that offers a cooler, slightly gentler take on these films, where you're like, I don't hate Terminator 3.
It's better than fucking Dark Fate, I'm telling you right now.
You were like, well, that's pretty rubbish compared to the first two. Well, we can't get any worse than that, can we? Oh, God, it's all the way down! There's a whole thing below this.
Oh, man.
I mean, there's space under the abyss.
There's space, mate. There's space. Oh, man.
It's just free fall. But yeah, some franchises, there's definitely an issue with Hollywood, but that's a broader conversation to have on a broader scale. But individual films, you're like, it wasn't great, but yeah, now you compare it to the modern trash, which again comes back to what you were saying about Wonder Woman. That, yeah, sure, it's not great, but there's worse.
Well, like,
Give them
there's
time.
movies out there, man. Curse of the Queer Wolf show proved that.
Yeah. Well, I think we've almost covered pretty much everything. Ian, is there?
right.
We haven't actually. There's one thing we haven't discussed yet.
Yeah, I was gonna.
And that is our Halloween seasons.
Oh, yes. Well, you got that.
It's an
I got that one,
absolute
yeah.
staple now on the channel.
Yes.
We've covered the Halloween series,
Yes.
Aliens series, Hellraiser, Resident Evil, George A. Romero's Dead series, Critters, Final Destination, Child's Play, Howling. Freddy and Jason films are still a work in progress.
That was kind of my favourite last year because it was my pick last year. We
alternate the choice.
We tried to, we started to alternate like midway through because we started to discuss what horror series we wanted to do, and the first couple always started to pick up. Like the Halloween series was a joint kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and then like Resident Evil, you really wanted to do all the Resident Evil.
I was
And you'd already done
so
some of the
bottled up. I
You'd
had
already done
to
some of the
just
Critters, so you couldn't take Critters for
get it out of my
Halloween,
system.
could you?
No, we'd done Critters 1, so then we had to knock out the other three to kind of go along with
But they
that
fell
series.
out of they fell out.
Yeah,
of
they
the
fell
year
out
rather
this, but
than
we,
in a
yeah.
Halloween.
I mean, Resident Evil was so good because I remember Gary saying, "Oh, I can't wait to do Resident Evil series," and then I watched the final chapter, and I was like, "This is gonna fuck him up," you know, because like I said, over the 10 years that we're doing these film reviews, he's saying he really wants to enjoy these films, and I'm watching the Resident Evil series, and I'm like, how can anybody enjoy this shit?
It never got better.
Like, it never
the
got
first
better.
film was like, okay.
I still enjoy the first one.
First
one's
one's
fine.
man, I'm telling you, after watching that Netflix production, I'll take that Russian underwater
And
shit.
we're back to the
Jeff Rodriguez
it's all the Terminator.
any fucking
It's
day.
Terminator Dark Face, baby. All the way
Terminator
down.
is true, sir, it's true. But that's the thing. That's what has given us the beauty because we initially the staple was to do horror series all the time. Like, we wanted to do the Phantasm series. We still haven't finished that one.
We did them in commentary, but we haven't done Ravager.
We haven't done Ravager.
We almost did it last year.
We almost did it almost on the
happened.
list. But, like, there were so many on the list. And it was a case of also saying, like, we're not going to do horror, but if we hit it for October, you know, everybody loves Halloween month. You know, the 1st of October, the 31st, you're building up. And it became a staple for me because I loved watching Halloween on Halloween. So watching all these horror movies, but then the organisation skill of, right, when are we going to do these 12 movies,
Right.
you know, in a
How?
row, while also trying to balance them with the weekly episodes as well. Who's taking up the mantle for the editing? Where are we going to obviously, you know, look into the films and stuff like that? But summertime, obviously, my work pattern, everything's always been working around my work pattern, obviously family time and stuff like that. So summertime I get off in holidays, and so it's like the first week or second week we're knocking out all the horror series. Halloween, like, was that the first proper...
That was the first Halloween season.
It is always a staple memory in my mind of that holiday. Because
You had the house to yourself.
I had
Wife and child were away. And you
I
could
love
just
my wife.
spend all
I
that
love
time
my son. It
with
was,
your with some of your favourite films.
I'd never watched all of them.
Yeah,
I'd
in
never
one
watched
go,
all
yeah.
of them. I'd watched obviously some. I'd had a couple glances here and there. Now was my time to actually sit down, watch them, make notes, and emote on camera the very next day because we were knocking out 2 a day.
Yeah.
Linda and Dylan were only away for 5 days. So from the day that they went, I was watching Halloween movies. Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Rob Zombie's 1 and 2. Yeah. And then the idea was then to take them from Gary while Gary continued with the show. I would then edit them over the months leading up because they needed to be back to Gary and getting rendered up in time because YouTube would do its thing and they needed to be ready by October 1st week, first Thursday, so that the first one could start going up. Nobody knew. And the beauty was, like I said, that whole week, it's always a staple memory because I could have gone away on holiday and I have done, but I didn't have a passport and my wife's going out of the country. So I'm like, oh, what? Oh, I can't go away? Shame. I'll just have to stay home and watch Halloween movies. And I did. And I remember I was watching the Curse of Thorn one with Paul Rudd.
Yeah, is that 6, I think?
6.
Or 5 or 6.
6, maybe. And it was the Wednesday or...
You can't remember which one.
Return,
Wednesday
Curse.
or Thursday. I was lying on... And I had to watch a second one after. and I was lying on my rug in the front room because I tidied the house from top to bottom. I slept in the front room pretty much the whole week. Walking over here, reviewing and editing with Gary, walking all the way back, watching the next couple, walking all the way back and forth for the week. I remember lying on the carpet like, what the fuck am I doing? These movies suck. It can't get any better or worse than this. And then it got to...
Busta Rhymes hasn't turned up yet.
Busta Rhymes hadn't turned up. I'm like, what the fuck is this going? But then I hadn't seen Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'd only watched it once and it didn't resonate.
Sing it to me, Ian.
And man, that love-hurt sequence just popped in my head of all the sequences in. And it was just a staple then of what we were going to do every October. We were going to do a horror series. And we were going to have fun with it. And we were just going to punch it. And we were just going to push it through.
Yeah, I absolutely adore every single Halloween season we've done. Last year's was the most... unorthodox of all of our preparations, and this was on Ian. It was Ian's idea to go, look, we need to do Freddy, we need to do Jason, but we've also not done this new Chucky film yet. People keep asking for it. I'm like, but we've got the new Halloween, we need to, because we finished all the Halloween reviews, but they kept making more, so we're like, well, the playlist is not finished anymore. So
we had to make a whole sequence and a skit, and then what
so we did a first one, a second, a third, a fourth, because we still did a chronological order.
You look back, it works in a chronological order.
But it was one of those things where every year we know, like, we're going to be very excited to do the first film. Somewhat the second. We know by the third film the quality is going to drop off so sharply. We're going to be wondering why we even chose this franchise in the first place.
Howling series.
I mean, but that one started with the good one, and then it dive bombed straight away.
But it was just so good to do as well, because like Howling 5, you're like, man, this is shit. But then you get to New Moon Rise,
you get to 7.
Like,
I would say it's like a horror thing, but the problem is modern cinema's proving it's not. It doesn't matter about what genre you are. Some people, the money train just drags these films out.
They do, and that's but that's the beauty of being honest about these film series as well, because you're looking at them and you're going, I shouldn't be watching this, but people need to know that why, and it's
not, and
it's
be honest,
easy,
it's
like we
these
said,
aren't the worst things
it's
ever
easy.
made, but they're sometimes often. It's a bit bland. They could have done better.
Yeah, but it's easy, like I said, to do the most well-known one, so that you hit the algorithm
and,
and you get the people in and getting angry and stuff. But like we've been wanting to do the Saw series for about fucking 4 or 5 years now.
Play a game.
Every year, wanting to do the Saw series.
The Saw movies are coming, whether it's this year or not.
Just to throw it out there, I think maybe the Saw series is the most successful long run.
I believe so.
I think so, because I don't know the numbers.
No, Resident Evil.
No, financially.
Not financially. We're talking about just in. I think general critical opinion, and amongst us, let's say, as the critics in this room, I think it's safe to say they have their ups and downs.
Yes,
but
they've
overall,
maintained.
They've gone good to like, actually not bad. What the hell was that? And then back to good. And then maybe the last couple were a couple of duds, but they weren't so far off the reservation that you're like, oh god, it's Hellraiser.
But that's easy. Once we've done Saw, we've had our fun and it's gone and we know it's going to be good. I'm still like, dude, we got to do the Amityville series, which is like 12 movies.
there's like 100 movies in the Amityville. I mean, I don't know which ones are.
Like you might want to cluster some of those.
No, why? We've got to do the.
I suppose it's food. Bread for the maker.
Man, I got to see why there's a haunted lamp. I've got to see the haunted
Genie's
lamp.
hiding in it.
The haunted lamp ends up in a cat at the end.
Man, if I can, I want to bring up one of the big, personal, obviously staple for the series for myself was pre obviously Twitch was the Redhead Adventures.
Yes, I wrote them down as something to bring up because you started really the whole gaming streaming for us on a semi-regular basis. 2
24-hour streams in the first couple of years. Like, we were trying to hit the audience. We were trying to bring the numbers in. You know, we were doing the film reviews. We were doing editing. We were doing the gaming Fridays and stuff like this. And so Twitch... I think Twitch had started or was just in the background. And I was just like, okay, let's do a 24-hour stream. And Gary's like, fuck you. And I'm like, what? Dude, we got to hit, we got to do this. We got our audience all over the world if we do this. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm fucking not staying up for 24 hours with you playing video games. I'm like,
I'm going to go to sleep.
I'm going to go to sleep. But the first one you weren't even there. The first one you fucked up when you watched fucking Age of Ultron.
I went to cinema.
He went to cinema and he fucking watched Age of Ultron while I sat there and I played Serious Sam and fucking Bioshock. No, I don't know. You went on another day. But it was always the thing, and I was always saying to Gary, man, you got to take your game into Twitch. You know, Gary's always loves his gaming, but he loves his personal gaming. And everybody's a personal gamer at heart, but watching Twitch come along, I'm like, bro, I'd love to do it, but you need to fucking get onto this Twitch. Oh, no, man, I don't want to fucking get people to watch me angry, fucking play video games. I'm like... Yeah, but that's like same with the YouTube thing when we first started.
Now the new thing is TikTok.
Same with the YouTube thing. You know, we want to be the funny monkeys dancing for a dime, just playing any game that you want to do? No, you want to have fun and enjoy it. So then Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. I swore blind I was never going back to a Rockstar online game because I'd spent 2 years playing GTA Online. Never played the story.
You never played the campaign,
Still
the
have
game
never
itself.
played the GTA 5 campaign myself. All I did was I went online and I fucking loved it.
You did finish Red Dead's story though.
No.
No,
never, mate. I've never.
The online...
Red Dead Redemption 1.
Ian buys Rockstar games for the online component only.
That's a lie.
That's a
lie. Because I got GTA 5 because I wanted to go back to Los Santos. I wanted to, bro. Remember when we played GTA San Andreas?
And I could drive you in a truck.
Yeah, but I fucking did all the fucking side stuff and the fucking. I was helping. I wanted to go back to Los Santos and I wanted to do my own story. Now, when Red Dead Redemption came out, I never played it because I didn't have the console at the time. I didn't have time to play. I had a young son. They had an online. And I played that and I was like, yeah, this is all right. Riding around as a cowboy shooting people from a hill because they're
in number one?
In Red Dead Online.
It was a clunky one, but yeah.
But it was on.
It was good for its time. Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. Gary says he's getting it. And it's got online and we're going to fucking play online as a bunch of cowboys and playing it. Now, I will admit, and I will defend as well, Gary, like he stopped playing it because it just didn't have any content. It was beta.
I did everything and got bored eventually.
It was beta for
you
like
played the
fucking...
games, you played single player through, didn't you?
Twice. Twice.
And I'll be honest, that's just for anyone who doesn't know, really good games, the two games. They're just two of the best
they are.
Stories.
Oh, God, my God.
It's a Western-made computer, perfectly.
But Red Dead Online 2, you know, Linda said, I'm getting it for your birthday. And I'm like, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back online because I griefed on GTA 5. And I'll say it again, I was a cunt. I would shoot you in the street for no reason. I would kill everything. And you're going to send me in the Wild West with a gun? Are you mad? And so I go there and, you know, like I said, Gary said, dude, I'm not playing it anymore, blah, blah, blah. And I also wanted to show to him that streaming could work. He could play it. He could just have fun. You know, so I took the Elgato and I said, look, I've got time. I'm going to sit at home. I'm going to do this. And the first couple of episodes came out. You know, the microphone. I had a headset. Mm-hmm. I had a headset with a microphone. That was how cheap I was because I couldn't have the money because obviously shit.
Just enough to get going.
Just enough to get going and to start playing. And, you know, me and Campbell, me and Zane Magers, me and Gary a few times. Linda played it. 500 episodes. I played 500 days at least. There's not 500 episodes. I played 500 days of that game. I purposely went for 365 with the challenge, and I was going to give up because trying to fit it in and keep that challenge going was a balance. Trying to work, family, edit, film review, playing Red Dead. And I loved it. I loved the fucking audience. You know, that's where Matt came in and Jay came in and everybody came in to fucking be like, what are you doing? What are you doing on YouTube now? You're playing Red Dead Redemption? Oh, this isn't a great game. Oh, what are you doing? And I'm just like, fuck you, motherfucker. Blah, 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 blah. Just, it was...
You did. You literally opened the gates to streaming, and then obviously the pandemic hit. And then I started doing some impromptu streams on YouTube before I was ended up making my way over to Twitch because there was literally somebody on Twitch that I wanted to go and see because I appreciated their YouTube work. And then I got to see how Twitch had this culture, these communities, these interactions between the streamer and the chat.
Yes.
And I was just like that. I experimented with on YouTube, but I didn't like. YouTube was just so far behind the times in terms of live streaming. I was like, I need to transition over to Twitch.
It's weird because I've listened to people discuss this on other channels, and the people point out now you've got Twitch streamers who were YouTubers who still port their videos edited. If they're big enough.
No, well, this was also going back to a conversation that I had with Ian about 3 years ago now, where the Gaming Fridays had stopped.
Yeah.
At the time, I was still putting videos on YouTube gaming stuff, and David was also transitioning over to Twitch at the same time, and he was streaming on Sundays on our YouTube, which we loved. But eventually we decided to, because I was having to fight his copyright videos on some music from the game, nothing David could to deal with.
Yeah.
But it was like David was trying to help us, but he was also hindering us because I had to fight copyright on extra stuff. So we eventually decided to just stop all gaming content on off-the-shelf YouTube and just keep it movie
because the audience had said as well, guys, we don't want to watch you do video games. We want to watch not all the audience,
but a few voices popped up.
Yeah, a few voices pop up, and you try not to, but you listen to those because like you're trying to iron out the creases. So people are saying, "Oh, I don't want to listen to you play Red Dead Redemption. I want you to talk about this film that I've just watched and see your opinion." And it's like, okay, I'm trying to manage that. So then we'll move it over to Twitch, and Twitch is the gaming platform. But then it's just like, okay, it's really cool watching you guys play video games, but your heart and soul lies in doing the film.
I think the thing is, unless you get big enough, which one day maybe you'll break a little bit bigger and get that editor. No. But it's like the guy I was listening to the other day said,
fucking Steven Spielberg over here fucking telling me how to fucking edit and build a fucking channel.
But TikTok, for instance, so this guy's saying TikTok's a new thing, and he's like, I didn't even realise my editor was putting videos up on TikTok.
Yeah,
because he was taking snips from
videos, but again, it's having somebody to do that.
And he then was like, what are these? Who are you people? Well, we're all TikTokers.
Yeah,
it's like, what? I've been invaded by TikTokers.
But it's also
a new
like
technology, isn't it? You're
like
sitting there, learn like you. My point is, it's very similar to like the way you stepped in bravely into the world of something you'd never done before.
Well, we have obviously in the past we did offer it out to other people to do, but nobody ever saw it as a viable thing. In fairness, they couldn't manage this new thing into their time. Yeah, well, not just the editing, dude. Like you've been in the film reviews, but even you trying to fit it into whatever your busy schedule is, flying
I
fucking from Miami.
I only had 10 minutes before we started this.
It's the thing. But it's because some people, as soon as they come home from work, they just want to sit down and crash. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But you're then going to obviously sit there and say, oh man, I'm tired of work. Oh man, I don't want to get up tomorrow and go into my mundane 9-to-5 fucking job. Well, then do something about it. Like, I don't want to be scrubbing toilets for the rest of my life. But over 20 years of doing it, I've gotten pretty fucking good and built myself into a job position where on top of that, I can manage and edit a film review show on YouTube with my friend who's streaming on Twitch while the technology changes. So then when people come up to me and they go, man, I really want to start streaming on Twitch, I'm like, good luck. Because unless you can actually, and the same with the YouTube, unless somebody goes, oh, I'll help you edit. They did that back in the day. I'll help you edit a video. And they could never get it off the ground. One of the ones we always wanted to go back and do is the airplane review, because as much as respectful as I can be for the guy who was editing the film review at the time, he did not have the same vision as us. He looked at the film and went, I'm going to cut this. That's just all waffle. I'm going to shave it down, trying to fit it into his schedule of his life. I'm going to shave it down to about 15 minutes and there you go. And in fairness...
Well, that was because we were told to keep our videos short.
Yeah,
we were told that people on YouTube have ADHD, short attention spans, and they just want bite-sized information
but they don't.
And move on.
There's an audience.
But we asked our audience on Twitch originally, I think, during a 24-hour live stream, shorter or longer videos, and it was unanimous.
Yeah,
everyone wanted the longest videos. Don't edit anything out for the sake of time. If it's part of the conversation, leave it, keep it, and that is. We've never changed. We
should have left in our 2.5 hour rants.
Wait, no, those got to be your fucking subject, bruh.
You both talked about nothing for 20 minutes.
It would have just been an essay on a side subject.
That's back from when our days when we were living together and Gary was living at his place, when you and I would be sat there, late up watching a film, and I'd be doing it with you, but where your tangents would go off because you were using all this other evidence to back up your argument, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going with you. I can stay with you, but we need to get back onto the other subject. So then I'd go to Gary and I'd be like, man, you wouldn't believe what fucking Jez went on about last night with this film. He waffled for like an hour. But that's me as well. I'm coming back. I'm talking to you. The videos, like I said, like
it's
same with the podcast. I remember coming up to Gary and saying, dude, we need to start doing podcasts. And he's like, really?
Oh, really?
And I'm like,
who's going to do this?
I'm like, yeah, well, how are we going to do this? And I'm like, I know it sounds crazy, but... And Gary understood that obviously to branch out, to build something, this is the way of things. It was at the time, also Andy...
And it's a minimal edit, thankfully, the way it works.
Andy had started
I thought that. I thought that. My God, the podcast has become some of the most difficult edits of all time.
Andy had started to do his podcast with his friends on 40k rule changes and stuff like that. And I watched and I said to him, oh man, that's a really good idea. If Andy's doing it for an hour and a half, we can do it, and we can just do it for 3 hours because we can talk about shit for fucking 3 hours.
Easily. I'm already trying to find ways to end this segment. I'm like, we've gone over time.
Fast forward it.
Sorry, no. Well, a friend of mine at the time, they actually went, nobody's going to want to listen to you talk for 3 hours. And I purposely thought to myself, because we've been doing the show for so long, we've been hearing about the Gaming Fridays, the fucking Twitch streaming, the film reviews and stuff. I felt like I just looked at this person and thought, you know what? Fuck you, I'm going to prove you wrong.
And you were on the cusp of that because
I had
to
help. I had to help Gary as well because I was saying to Andy at the same time, look, I know you're doing your podcast and it's great, but you need to help your friends edit it because it's a lot of work. And he was like, oh yeah, but no, I can't fit it into my time. And in truth, he couldn't. But his had to come to an end. They couldn't keep it going. 53 episodes later, we're like, look, we've got this dynamic.
We took a long break. Podcast took a long break during the pandemic because it was like, if I can't record with you or Andy, we ain't doing it. I'm not doing solo podcasts.
But we could have done it. We talked about the video Zoom calls because we almost looked into Zoom calls.
But I was like, quality of that, I can't control internet and everything else and delays.
And so it was just to manage it. And so at the same time, we were trying to do film review. So,
but just to end the conversation on podcasts. All of our, more than half of our podcasts still were not recorded live.
Yeah.
It was only really when we transitioned over to Twitch that I was like, I think our audience would like to see these podcasts recorded live.
Yeah.
And the issue is obviously we have such an awesome community that we love during streams to interact. But during podcasts,
it's difficult,
no podcasters I really know interact with chat as they go, and so that's the only sort of barrier where I've trying to be someone who's professional with a podcast is like we shouldn't even acknowledge chat. We need to have our things.
But that's where we get the Q&A section in
exactly.
as well.
So I think the evolution of going live and having the interactions and having a live audience, I think also helps. It puts us on point. Because we know you're watching. But it's just been an awesome evolution of the channel. Yes.
Well, it won't be when you listen to it in 2 weeks.
No,
but we are running out of time. We have gone over time for this segment. Now, I would say this is not going to be the end of our conversation about Off the Shelf Reviews 10 years because I've seen the questions as they've been coming in tonight, and they are all about the channel and us in 10 years. So these conversations will continue in the third part where we will be answering your questions. And I have to say, thank you all the Patreons. Thank you all the subscribers. Thank you all the followers. Thank you everyone that's joined our Discord. We opened the Discord a few years ago on a whim. I didn't really know what it was, how to work it, what it was going to become. And now our Discord is the hub and part of the beating heart that is this channel where everyone in there talks about films I've never heard of, TV shows I've never heard of, wrestling, which I don't watch anymore, politics. You guys share your gym routines, your cooking recipes, and it is absolutely amazing to hear all of your stories, share parts of your lives as well. So thank you guys so much for supporting us for 10 years. And no matter where you found us, when you found us, you're here now. And that means so much. So to end this segment, I will say thank you. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, everyone, for 10 years. And here's to 10 more.
Bellissimo.
Yes.
And that's going to conclude the second part of the podcast. We are going to take a quick break, stretch our legs, and when we come back, we will be answering your questions. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to the third and final part of the podcast where we'll be answering your questions.
Woo!
Alrighty, Ian, I'm going to throw the Facebook questions for you to read out for me.
Oh, shit, okay. Okay, so, right, for the first question, I think we'll go with Hannah LaRouge, sorry, from some of our videos.
Would you like to start over, Ian?
No, I'm good, we're just fucking winging it. And Hannah asks...
She can punch me.
Fist bumps. Have you changed your mind about Twilight?
No.
So that's your stance.
That's my stance, no.
That's your stance. I still really haven't changed my stance that the movie does suck, but I have watched all the movies, and I have kind of looked into them. And after watching the Batman with Robert Pattinson and The Lighthouse.
Rob Pattinson's a good actor.
I
also like what she called
And
Stuart.
because I never reviewed it,
too.
my stance was I'll continue not to watch those films.
Right, exactly. Maybe there'll be another Halloween series. Twilight, the Halloween series. Oh, you heard it here first. Next question.
Twilight Zombies, part of the Marvel franchise.
The next question is from Jeremy Smith. What up, Jeremy? If you boys ever come over to Ontario, Canada, we'll watch a few flicks and I'll show you all around my town, which is Huntsville, Ontario. He doesn't give his home house number or his phone
probably
number,
for the best.
which is good. 2 hours or so north of Toronto. Canada, they do have some legalized rules over there, don't they? Possibly. That'd be cool. I'll
Where's
pick
my
you up
passport?
anyway. Anyway, love your channel. Definitely one of your top favorite reviews. Thanks, Gary. And that's not how you spell my name. IAIN, please. It's Ian with 2 I's. IAIN. And
Like
it's not,
Lane.
Not fucking. Not Lane. You guys probably said it at some point, but I was wondering where on that great island do you live? Well, we normally just say the southwest.
We're in Plymouth.
Is that his cracker?
Where those boats kind of ran off.
Yeah, where the
If you've got a
Mayflower.
question,
Where the Mayflower
you're going
boat
to get
kind
an
of-
honest answer.
Like I do love the fact I've lived in Plymouth for 40 years of my life, and I do love the fact that I get to say, hey, yeah, we destroyed a country by leaving here in a Dutch bunch of vessels.
What? I missed the conversation.
Well, the Plymouth Steps.
Oh,
That's
right, the
where
Mayflower Steps.
The Mayflower Steps.
There were a few. It wasn't
And they
like-
left
it
there. The
wasn't just
history is they
Plymouth.
left there and they went
It
over
wasn't just
to...
Plymothians.
But it's on the fucking list, dude.
I'd like to say my answer.
I love our ancestors sailed across the world. We found America, and the first town they went, we'll call it Plymouth.
Actually, here's the fun bit.
From Plymouth to Plymouth.
I think actually it was a mixture of a lot of different Europeans.
The funny thing is...
Germans were the first
The
to
funny
get there,
thing
I
is...
think.
I've got nothing to do with this because I'm Scottish. So I was just born here. Their history is their own thing. So
Hey, I'm Montgomery as well, mate.
See, the
and,
Scots
I
still
think-
trying to fucking
I hate to
separate
say-
themselves.
Next question
They just can't
is
accept
from
it that they're English.
Linda Buckingham. What up, Linda?
Oh.
Over the 10 years, is there one review that you would like to redo, and what would the reason be?
Hey, Linda.
Jez, what?
I've only done a few.
What
Which one would I
review
make you? Well, what would I make?
Well,
you
no,
redo
what would
with me,
you?
mate?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, I don't know. The ones you've made, I've been jealous of. Well, you haven't done Blade Runner yet.
We haven't done Shining yet. Sorry,
Jess.
Jess.
Not Blade Runner 2. We haven't done Blade Runner 2.
No, I'd be wanting to do Blade Runner because I think Blade Runner's.
We've done the first one.
No, I know
We
you
haven't
have.
done
That's
the
I
second
do.
one. 2049.
Yeah.
You want to do Blade Runner?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, Jess also wants to do Shining as well.
Shining. We haven't done the Shining.
We haven't done Shining yet.
We haven't done any Stanley Kubrick movies.
Yeah, we have.
What? Oh, God, fucking Barry
Lyndon.
Barry
That's not
Lyndon.
Yeah,
any.
no,
I'm
you
sure we
bang
did
up.
more than
Yeah,
that.
but no, we haven't done Clockwork Orange.
No, you
We
haven't.
haven't done...
Of all the greats.
Eyes Wide Shut?
No.
We definitely haven't done Eyes Wide
No,
Shut.
I mean that could be a Halloween though.
We would have to do the Shinning at some point.
You could do the whole set over Halloween because
Oh,
honestly,
yeah,
his films
whole
border
Stanley
on
Kubrick
horror in a
series.
psychological way.
Sick.
Yeah.
Redo
If
review?
there was any review I'd like to redo, it's the first 3 years of the channel.
Oh,
Like
well, yeah.
I one of the ones that we did early on was The Crow, and that was one of the lost videos. And so when an actual Patreon request came in to do The Crow, so I was like, oh, that's fine. I'll
Yes.
find our old video of The Crow,
Yeah.
get it past copyright, and re-upload it. But I sat down and watched
the way
it,
you're skinny.
and I cringed so hard
It's-
because
'cause
in
it's
the
older,
early
yeah.
days of the reviews, Ian and I barely looked at the camera.
Yeah, well...
We looked at it. We were afraid to look at it. We were shy, and we and ahed, and we were like, "Yeah, it was directed by Ian, who was it directed by?
Yeah, because we didn't make
that
notes.
sort
we
of
were
thing.
Just, yeah.
Like
Well,
now
in this
we
podcast,
get
I'm
our
looking across
facts
you guys,
right
but-
if we can.
don't
The
look right at the camera
ukulele
in a
was
podcast 'cause
invented
it's more
in
casual.
17 whatever. You know, as we try to get our facts right, and we try our way of delivery has changed so much. So all of the early reviews make me cringe inside so badly.
No, you're right, 'cause I remember
we
doing a
didn't
few
have
of
the
the early
confidence. We didn't know the format.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the early ones I would like to do. Das Boat
Oh yeah.
is one of them.
Oh,
The flight,
yeah.
the Flight of Dragons, Leon.
Wow, we haven't even done Fly 2 yet.
We haven't done Fly 2 yet. So there's so many,
Leon,
Linda,
I'd love to
that
read-
need to be redone.
I would love
In
to.
my
You
opinion.
could probably go back and do a redo of Fly 1 and 2. I don't know.
I would love to redo Leon because I remember we outsourced the Leon edit to a friend to do because obviously they were wanting to help and stuff.
Guest editors, we
And
tried, yeah.
I said to him, look, this is how I would do the intro because every video had this intro of off the shelf reviews, the title of the movie, and who's in the review. Keeps it nice and short, a bit of music in there, just flow right into it. And he didn't see it because, like, you've seen Leon, right? The opening of Leon, you fly down the camera through the city, through that door, and then bang, you're sat at the table with Leon talking to the hitman guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like a perfect intro. And he's like, oh no, I'm not going to do it like that. And that's when I started to realize as well, we can't really outsource these because Gary wants it one way, I want it kind of the same way but in a tweak, and this person
compromise between you.
Yes,
This person has a different idea
person
based
wants
on the YouTube trends and algorithms at the time.
and what they think, and it's
Yeah. So even if we do get an extra editor, we're going to be like, now we're going to edit ourselves, thank you. Because we don't like what you've done.
Yeah.
You record the video. No.
I mean, if an
We're
editor,
so possessive and protective.
at the same time, the editor would actually have to sit there in the like what I did with you guys. Like they would have to watch the film. They would have to understand the
So
film
they know
from
where the film
and
clips
then
are,
put it
because
in.
that's the nightmare when you come to edit.
Because we've always said, like, we could just do it with no film clips and just talk all the way through, but you would lose people's interest.
Yeah.
You need to emphasize certain sequences to the certain films to bring them back. So, we've got a statement from.
How do you pronounce that name?
I want to say that's Russian or it could be Eastern European. Kaperkiner has said, you guys have outlasted. You've outlasted Monday Night Nitro.
Really? How long did they go? Not 10 years.
They went to 2001. They were actually in Monday Night Nitro started from about 93, but didn't last to 2003.
Okay.
But WCW itself lasted for an incredibly long time, so they transitioned into different shows, which were but that's a really good one. But the next question is from Harvard Ryan. What up, Harvard?
Yeah, Harvard Ryan.
Which movie review was most painful to get through?
Oh,
there has been a fucking list.
Say that again?
Which movie review was the most painful to get through? And
it's a good question.
I will be honest. None of them have been painful because of actually having to sit down and talk with them, with the people I do it with.
I know one.
Always enjoyed sitting down and talking.
Ben's still a film, Gary.
No, I'm good. Sorry.
Ben's still
You've got nice things to say, and I've got horrible things to say.
Go, mate. You go. It's the Kraken, mate.
It's the Kraken. The Predator. Not only did our sound recorder conk out and die during that review, Ian was a self-righteous prick the entire time. He kept mocking me the entire time. Going,
the Predator!
You're the idiot that went to the cinema to see this knowing it was going to be awful. You're the idiot for giving them more money. I'm the idiot for buying the DVD. You treated me like a reject that entire video.
Honestly, I didn't.
And I felt like
I think we did a game
like
in
I was
Friday,
such on my own. I felt like I was
it's
on
the
my
one
own.
that you and me
Man.
did after the lockdowns.
I'll be honest. It wasn't meant to come like that. But at the same time, tell me I was wrong. You hated the movie.
I'll tell you I was wrong. I was offended.
You were hating the movie
because you took it personally.
I did.
I felt attacked.
The movie was fucking bollocks, and we were having to sit through this great film franchise. Like we'd done Predator, we'd done Predator 2. I thought the film series had gone bad after we'd done Predators.
Right, Jay? You remember the way I looked at you during that review? I was like, in my head, I was like, you motherfucker! You wait till the camera's off, and we're gonna have fucking words, mate.
You know what? If we're on that subject, you were kind of the same with Audition.
Well, yeah, because you're so wrong in that video.
Yeah, but that's the beauty. Like
You're not
Audition,
wrong. You're just completely conflicting opinions.
audition as well. Like for example, like, and this is like we said with Scanners as well. Once we come back from lockdown, you have this perspective
Sometimes you
of
will
a
buy-
film.
You just don't seem to like Takeshi Miike movies, Ian.
No, I'm trying to, and they're such fucking like. Have we released that other one yet?
What,
the other one, John?
Itchy the Killer.
Itchy the Killer. Like I know there's a market out there for people who just want to watch violent movies that have no substance. Because it takes them away, it distracts them from the mundane existence of their lives. But then if I'm gonna sit down and fucking watch it, I'm gonna be honest. And like with The Predator, I was honest. The movie was fucking shit. It was fucking bollocks. And I'm sat there talking to a guy who paid money to go see it. When I told him, don't fucking go. I'm going, dude. I'm going. Don't go. You're going to waste your fucking money. I got to go see it. And then he goes see it and he comes back and goes, it was fucking shit. Same with Halloween Ends. Like him and Andy were like, man, we can't wait to go see this movie. I'm like, are you fucking insane? You fucking insane.
Says the person buying them all on DVD.
My
money went to the theater. Your money went to the goddamn company.
Well, I still haven't bought it yet, so I'm still unsure if I should just snap Halloween Kills. I might snap it on a Twitch podcast, or I should buy the DVD. At the same time, the most painful ones to get through as the movie, not like I said, not with the people that we've been doing with. No. The movie, like things like slashers.
Oh God.
Ankle biters, Venom. Like, you know, one movie I film with you. I'm just gonna chuck this in there. One movie film with you that I'm really.
Review, Gary. There was one that I did review. It was fucking awful. I've deleted it from my memory because I'm that.
Castle Freak.
Castle Freak had some redeeming quality because it was so strange.
Mysterious Skin.
Mysterious Skin. That was tough for different reasons.
And
subject matter
that's
was
what
dark.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Movie review painful to get through. Mysterious Skin. Another one was it that what was that one set out in the cornfields with fucking Viggo Mortensen?
Something Reflecting Skin.
The Reflecting Skin. Was that the Reflecting Skin?
Yeah.
I've always been fucking terrified in 10 years, like I said, of doing a Serbian movie. But at the same time, Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Yeah, well, we haven't reviewed that one.
No, I know, and I'm fucking terrified, bro, because like we get emotional when we're talking about films, and we've watched it, and we've made notes, and we've how it makes us feel, and why you should watch this movie, and you know that type of movie is so painful to sit through that people will go, "Oh, Ian, you should totally watch the Terrifier movies because they're great," and I'm like, "Watch the Boy."
Because it's a long time ago, I can't quite remember. I remember I Scorched Earth a couple of films in way back reviews. And I can't remember what they were, but I really didn't like those films.
Yeah, there was a few, man.
But I do. But then it's us hitting loggerheads back in those days. We'll get all
right, okay, questions. Another one from Hannah LaRouge. Hannah, when are you getting Linda and Hannah back on? We have discussed that a couple of times because there are a couple
Hannah,
of
if you do listen to this, I will get you back in for Interview with a Vampire.
Because we got a vampire series with Hannah.
I promised you 2 years ago when we last reviewed. The last film Hannah was on was From Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn,
and we get Hannah in for vampire reviews, and I promised Interview with a Vampire. But the thing is, Interview with a Vampire is one of my favourite vampire films, and I keep putting it off because I want to do it justice. And Hannah. Interview with a Vampire.
You're going for it. And Linda wants to do West Side Story at some point as well. She wants to do more musicals. That's a whole other subject.
I might be busy.
What up? Question from Natalie Hurlbert. What up, Natalie? Congratulations on the 10-year milestone. That is amazing. My question is, if I gave you each a time machine, when would you travel back to and why? I'm caught between dinosaurs and maybe the 16th century. I'd like to ride a T-Rex, but I also like a gentleman in knee boots. I'd like to possibly travel back in time and restart the first couple of years of Off the Shelf Reviews.
Do it properly.
This is how we're doing it in the future, okay?
No, we should have started earlier.
Yeah. we'll fucking start.
Get on the bandwagon when YouTube first started.
VHS tapes.
Instead of waiting.
Store all the VHS tapes.
It's a great question, Natalie. If I had a time machine and also a country transporter, I'm sorry, Ian.
No, you can jump in.
I want to go to Michigan, and I want to go to film school with Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, the Coen brothers.
Yes.
I want to hang out with those guys and be on set for Evil Dead. Be a fake Shemp, I'm
going to sound so.
Go on, Jess. I mean, he's going to go back and fucking hang out with the Raimi fucking crew. How are you going to sound nerdier than that?
I'd go and travel ancient Greece and meet Aristotle and like the great thinkers of that time.
Right, okay.
I mean, I'm
You're going to wander around in a toga and drink a lot of wine and fuck.
Well, no, just ancient history, true antiquity.
I get it.
The great poetics, and there's something truly romantic about understanding how the formation of storytelling came from.
There's still a lot of killing, bro.
Oh,
I mean, it's famous now.
Has it changed from now?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's a bunch of people to stand
Anyone's
around.
going to Michigan, I'm pretty sure the gun rate and death doesn't change a great deal.
Standing around talking theories, which is a great idea. I mean, the ancient Greece, that's pretty good.
I know, again, because it's the birth of modern storytelling. It's a lot of Shakespeare's writing sourced from that era. I mean, he draws from the classics. So, it's just understanding the mechanics of how we got to storytelling. The playwrights of great and ancient times. I mean, it's because this is what we love. The films now are like they're talking about the Marvel films. It's just
Jess, thank you for joining us today.
He makes the rest of us look kind of.
You're like, oh man, now my answers. I need to rethink it.
Next question from
you've had too much witty girls.
From Michael Porter. What up, Michael?
Yeah,
congratulations on your 10th anniversary. You two have such a great channel. It's amazing how underrated it is. Keep up the great work. Oh, cheers, man.
Oh man, thank you.
This is the audience. It's for everybody. It's to balance it all out. Next question is from Rowan Wyatt. Happy 10th to my favourite channel. Question. I'm a big fan of Portmanteau movies. Do you watch them? If so, which is your fave?
Portmanteau?
I wikied this before I came over just to make sure. I think the one I remember mainly is like The House That Dripped Blood. They're like some 70s Hammer horror
I was aware of these because those popped
Lee.
up when I was doing my Grindhouse research. Yeah, that's great.
That.
I'm not quite sure of these.
No.
That's another Halloween.
This is me to go on a research tangent now.
Well, this is it.
That's Halloween 2025.
This is a great question because this is another great example of the off-the-shelf reviews kind of channel. Is like there are so many different film genre ideas out there of movies that we've never even heard of or seen, of niche markets and things like that, where yes, we want to do the most up-to-date movies because obviously everybody wants to talk about them, but Rowan wants to talk about the Portmanteau movies, and that's like a series of 5 or 6 movies that YouTube would just look at and go, oh, we've never heard of these, just send them up, and you build up an audience from watching these movies, and new people get into
obscure movies are our forte.
Man, especially when people go, what makes this good? It's like, this has got Christopher Lee in. They're like, who? And you're like,
Soul. Yeah.
Get up on!
You. Whippersnapper, you.
Yeah. We'll probably get a Portmanteau at some point. Maybe a Halloween series. Everything's a Halloween series nowadays. Next question is from David Morris.
Yeah,
what up, David? Congrats on the anniversary. My question to Ian, personal, is which review do you think Gary went full rage mode on?
It's obvious.
And vice versa for Gary. There's been some real rants down the years. Here's to another 10 fist bumps.
Tekken 2.
Tekken 2.
Can anyone in chat tell me the fuck counter? Was it over 200?
I think it's like 120 odd. I think it actually ran.
But I don't think that's your biggest ragiest video. I think your most ragiest video is Halloween Kills. Now.
And the problem is when I get so angry and emotional, I really start to swear because it's how I like to express. But then the more I swear, the less sense I make. So I start to sound like the Hulk. So I'm just like fuck smash, fuck smash, fuck smash. And for Gary, obviously, it's got to be the Predator.
Well, not Alien Covenant?
No, Alien Covenant.
Or Resident Evil Final Chapter?
Like I said, there's so many, there's just so much rage.
Building
and I was the calm, collected, sophisticated one, apparently.
Like I said, and we were going to rage when we were going to do like Venom, because Venom was just like so off the fucking ball. But
it's not worth raging for.
It's
Venom.
not. Weirdly enough, we kind of. I think
sympathize with the no budget
shit leading up to that and sympathize. But same with what you call it, Ankle Biters as well, and Curse of the Queer Wolf. We were so surprised. We're like, what the fuck's this? And we sit and watch it and we enjoy it. Next question's from Robert Brooklyn. What up, Brooklyn? I have a question, Ian. Sorry, I didn't even read that one again. Does Evil die tonight? Next question.
Yes,
Next question.
Evil dies tonight.
It's from Nick Lucy. What up, Nick
Yo,
Lucy? 10 years. Oh my lord. That's awesome, brohams. Have a fun question for you this time. If you owned a boat, could be anything from a 16th century pirate ship to a present day oil chic yacht.
Or a future age spaceship?
What would you name it? Example, I would 100% have the pirate ship and name would be the Drowning Mermaid. Cheers, my dudes, and here's 10 more years. What up,
Cheers,
dude?
Nick. I have run several long-standing zombie campaigns with a large group of friends. We've had players come in, cameo, and move on. We've had players there from the start. I've been running this zombie campaign, multi-dimensional universe zombie campaign for so long.
Over 10 years, dude.
Exactly, and the name that I come back to, and it's from Star Trek, is the Saratoga. I always call my ships. It's from Star Trek.
It predates.
I know it predates. Yeah, Space Above and Beyond is the Saratoga.
Yeah.
Star Trek has a Saratoga. That name, I think it's a World War II vessel.
I think it's a World War II vessel.
And actually, it's great. I think it comes.
I don't know the origins for it, but I always call all of my ships the Saratoga, and it's from some of my favorite sci-fi shows.
Yeah.
It's one of those names that's always background. It's not the Enterprise or the Pegasus or the Galactica. Saratoga is something kind of like interesting. You think about it, you're like, is that a country? Is that an island? Like, where'd it come from?
Yeah.
Is it American? I don't know, but I like the way it sounds, and I've always called my ships the Saratoga.
Yeah. I come up with various names for various things as I write quite to myself, but I like utilising the Elysian Wind or Elysian Breeze.
Elysian Fields.
Because it all comes back to Gladiator, which because it's just the breeze on the corn as you walk through.
Beautiful.
To see his family.
Beautiful,
I don't know, just because it always. I like when I've sailed in my life, I've always felt it's serene, and it always somehow connects to me. That
sailed.
No, I've been.
Bro, I've known you for like 20 years. I've never seen you on a boat.
No, my youth, I was on a boat,
motherfucker.
Yeah, you man. I was going to say.
You see me every fucking day of the week.
I get you on a boat,
you don't know
Jess.
what I'm up to at the weekends.
I'm making that music video.
Yeah, like Biggie fucking Smalls, bro.
I'm on a
You're
boat.
him in a boat in the middle of the ocean with fucking helicopters.
On a boat, motherfucker.
I was saying this to Linda when I was at home. Obviously, maybe being a bit heart soppy, but if I had a boat, big ass fucking motherfucking one of those yachts, one of those big ass fucking yachts where the fucking movie room is bigger than the engine room, right. You know, like that boat from was it The Uninvited, which was another great film review that we finally got to do.
One with
The Killer Cat. I'd probably name the boat Linda if I could, because the name has just been so awesome. Obviously, the wife and stuff, but like at the same time, when I play Evil Dead now, it's just like it's just the one named Linda. I'm like, she's still chasing me yet, or in big embezzled letters right around the bow of the fucking ship. So when you come along, you're like, what the fuck does that say? It would say, Kurt motherfucking Russell around the side.
Motherfucking Russell's
the Kurt
coming at you.
motherfucking Russell is coming at you. So, next question is from David Allen Evans. What up, David?
Yo, David.
Congrats on 10 years, gents. Think I've been watching you for 7. We've done 7, haven't we? We've done 7.
Yeah.
Discovering you through Alien 3 review because I needed to find some sane people out there who saw the value in it. Keep going. My question, I guess, is what would you not want to see turned into a film? My example would be the Team Ico games like Shadow of the Colossus because it already exists in a perfect medium. I love this question because I bought, back to my wife going, I bought Linda our copy of Shadow of the Colossus for the PS2 recently because we'd started playing it when we first got together, and we'd never completed it, and we finally did complete it. And I gotta say, he's right. It is perfect as a game, but if they transition it like they've done with The Last of Us, with just like a silent character going around on his horse trying to kill these Colossus to save this girl. Even a Netflix series where you had no speech until like the beginning episode and last episode, you could easily do it.
It's very difficult to say absolutely no to anything because
Yeah,
I'll be honest,
the
better truth to it is going, what don't you want fucked up the most?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm already thinking like
so many things get fucked up.
I'm very
right
optimistic because I'm like, I want Resident Evil to be adapted. I'm like, but all the ones that have been made are terrible.
They
So maybe I
dragged
should
it
have
out
gone with
That's
that.
the thing.
Yeah.
Like we've got the Metal Gear film supposed to come in with what's his name? Oscar. Oscar Isaacs, and I'm kind of, I want to see it, but at the same time I'm like, fuck you, cancel it, stick Pedro Pascal in it, and get the guys behind The Last of Us to fucking record it, because that's. But, you know, it's like somebody else...
It's like, look at Stephen King's works and how many of his books have been screwed up.
Yeah, somebody else said to me in the Discord as well, I don't know if they were just being a fucking idiot or they actually were trying to make the same point I've heard a million times. It's like, oh, well, if they wanted to do Resident Evil perfect, then the first film would be about an hour and a half of you just walking around looking at a door and opening it. And it's like, it doesn't have to perfectly replicate it. You know, you could do the remake Resident Evil. That's how that works. The remake Dead Space.
The trick is pacing and atmosphere. If they get those things right, that's where Last of Us has that sort of sadness.
It's got to be as close as you can, but with a twist that keeps you going.
I'm really struggling to find an answer because I feel like I fall into the category again of the optimist, where I'm like, try it. At least try it. And then if it's terrible, I'll tell you. It's not my money. If you do a Resident Evil series on Netflix and it's awful, I'm gonna say it's awful.
If it's not my money, so burn it happily, motherfuckers.
But be authentic or be faithful to the original material.
That's why getting the writer involved, as we said earlier, is important.
Like then. Yeah, I'm thinking of The Dark Tower, Stephen King's The Dark Tower, and the abomination of the film that we got.
We still need to watch that.
I don't want to. Man.
Do you remember the Dead Rising? They did a Dead Rising adaptation. We did the first one because this motherfucker was like, "That's gonna be so fun."
Gary, we can leave it in.
Then the second one was so good, and I'm like, "Why have we not reviewed this one?" And Gary's like, "I fucking hate those movies." Next question is from...
You've made me depressed about Dark Tower.
Mitchell Kennard. What up, Mitchell? That's awesome, guys. My favourite video is when Ian had a meltdown on Hellraiser Judgment. That's the video that made me a big fan of you guys. Looking forward to the celebration of the 10 years Off the Shelf Review channel on Twitch. Fist bump. Oh, man.
Nice. Very good. Okay, we'll close down the Facebook questions and comments.
Oh, do you want me to do the...
No, it's okay. I'll pick you up, Ian. I'll carry on.
Round two.
With the questions that have come in. Thank you from the podcast.
Thank you.
The first one was from Matthias.
What up, Matthias?
Yeah, Matthias. When did you guys peak? For me, it's obviously when you did Curse of the Queer Wolf. Gay Pride, thank you for the 10 years of videos, guys. Thank you so much, Matthias. The Curse of the Queer Wolf request came in. I can't remember the person's name. He is thanked at the beginning of that review.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the first film review that we did that was a complete curveball.
Yes.
This was a film I'd never heard of. Nope. It was obviously about gay people. I was like, how do we handle this? Like, how do we interpret this? Is this film going to be funny?
Yeah,
Is it going to be offensive?
Yeah.
And Ian and I were in absolute hysterics with that film. It was an absolute treasure. It's a film I've not rewatched, but when I think
I don't
of
have to. I remember it.
Yeah, but when I
fucking edited it. We fucking worked it.
It's a crime that more people are not aware of this film.
But the beauty of it as well, and this was the thing, like I said, since core Off the Shelf Reviews early days, was we were gonna hit movies that either were gonna make us nervous, was gonna have sensitive topics. We were afraid we were going to turn our audience off.
You've never reviewed The Crying Game with Bob Hoskins.
It's not been requested.
No, it's not been requested yet.
Boys and girls.
And but this is the thing.
That's an old school game.
I remember saying to Gary, like I said, when we first started, it's like, how do you do movie? Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. How do you tap into the gay homosexual nowadays, the LBQTBG HD K4K. I'm not being offensive, but there are so many things now, and how do you stay politically offensively non-correct and things like that while also trying to be fun and honest? And personally, I found it quite difficult many times. And going back, and it sounds stupid, but going back and talking about films like The Predator, where we're going back and forth for each other, we're showing the audience that, hey, you give us a film like Curse of the Queer Wolf, we're going to be honest of how we feel. Mm-hmm. Gary's not going to really coax me into saying, no, agree that this is the way you feel so that it sells this film. And I'm not going to push Gary to say, no, you cannot express your feelings. Even when it comes to Adam Sandler movies. He absolutely hates them. But there's a market. There's a market for obviously the Mexican Latino. There's the market for obviously African American. There's a fucking market for Indian, Bangladesh. There's a market for Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Thai.
But you'll always come at it with a blank slate.
I come at it. You have to.
Yeah, you have to be honest.
I have to wiki it. I have to review it. I have to know how I'm going to feel. The British market.
Yeah.
It'd be easy just to do Hammer horror Scottish movies.
Yeah, I was saying modern media right now seems to be rewarding people who are authentic.
Yeah.
As much as Mr. Rogan we mentioned earlier, he's authentically Rogan, whatever the fuck.
He is authentic.
He's him.
Yes,
He's
that
him.
is true.
You present yourself as yourself.
But I would never ask him to review a film for me.
No, because that's your job.
No. It is, but also his stance, because he's honest, is only gonna niche him, and that's what.
No. But again, you take it to other podcasts like the D&D.
No.
I don't know. I only picked him because he's the biggest.
That's what I've also found with our audience as well is, as diverse as they are, people are very strict on their views. Working with Gary is obviously, I felt like that as well, where it's like, no, dude, we can't watch that film because, and at times I'm like, really? Seems like such a crazy reason in it, an excuse or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's paid off because we have to approach it a particular way.
You want to be sensitive.
We want to be sensitive, and we want people to look back at like I was saying this to Linda today. There's a film review Metropia. If you've never watched Metropia, our film review Metropia,
one of our most underviewed videos
most
ever.
underviewed. I'd love to go back and watch it. Yes, because I think you're in it. Actually, I think you're part of it, or maybe it's Jeff. But it's a politically correct, government-issued kind of movie with, it's got such strong messages in it, and yet nobody watches it. They want to watch what they want to watch.
No, and again, and if it's sometimes connecting with that audience, but no, totally.
You got to connect.
And you want to remain that kind of neutral entity, so you can love it. Everyone loves your stuff. Then
next question.
Sorry, I'm having a bit of a delay with my stream setup here.
Okay.
The
delays.
But yeah,
I
we
do
love
apologise.
everybody, and that's the thing.
We'll go with this one right now. It's from Nifty Guy.
What up, Nifty Guy?
Hello.
Congrats on 10 years. While rewatching movies for your reviews, what are some movies that you thought were better and worse than you remembered them to be?
Okay.
Good question, Nifty Guy.
Weirdly enough, like I said, going back to the Takeshi Miike thing from earlier, like, at the time when I watched Audition, like, and you've really got to approach movies as well with a clear head a lot of times. If you're trying to fit them in on a day where you're rushing and stuff, it can really affect your mentality. Mm-hmm. I look back at Audition as one of these films where I'm like, I was not in a good place when I watched that film. I was not enjoying it.
Sure.
And I attacked it, and I may have said some things that may have been harsh, but if I went back and I watched it now, because I've already seen, because that was my first time of watching it.
Yeah.
If I went back and watched it now, I'd understand the story a little bit better.
Sure.
Like with Itchy the Killer, when we first watched it, it was fucking funny as fuck watching him slice people up with his foot. Now watching, I'm like, this is so dated, so stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
you change. There is always a truth that we're all fluid creatures, and you change with the viewings and with time. So you kind of come and, I don't know, it's very complicated.
Some classics I'll never change. I'll look at Aliens and I'll be like, that
Has
movie...
any improved for you, though? Because that sounds silly to say. Time generally gives you rose-tinted glasses, which means you look back on things fondly. When I was a kid, I enjoyed a cartoon called Chucky and George.
I love Chucky and George.
But don't ever watch it again.
No, I love that. I'll fucking sing you the tune right now, dude.
No.
Chucky and George,
have you watched
the
it?
crime busters off the sea.
But have you seen it in the last 5 years?
And George, yes. There are many
actually.
mysteries.
I remember it better than
I know, I get what you're saying. Like, I watched Dungeons and Dragons. I love Dungeons and Dragons. And I went back and I watched a couple of episodes. I'm like, man, these drag. Yeah. They always get out. But you rose-tinted glasses. Like
it is. But in reverse, is there any that have kind of come back and you've gone, oh, hang on, this wasn't... I thought this was a bit naff.
Well, yeah. Funny enough, like I said, like...
There is stuff that held up.
Like,
I mean, it's
Mutant
like Back
Chronicles.
to the Future.
Mutant Chronicles, I still have never really enjoyed, but every now and again, I just want Ron Perlman to just turn into a mutant. Like Alien Resurrection. Oh, man, I go back and forth of, is Josh Whedon any good?
Yes, he was as a as a person, as a human being. No,
Alien Resurrection.
Maybe.
No, Cabin.
Cabin in the Woods is great. I'm kind of right, but yeah, at the same time, like I said, go back and watch Alien Resurrection after watching.
It's so
Alien
messy
3.
separating art. I mean, some people have a harder time separating art from an artist. It isn't easy. It's messy. Every human being on the planet has had bad thoughts at some point. Some act upon it.
Yeah.
Some don't have self-control.
Some get a PC and decide to go on the internet with it.
It's probably better than doing it to people.
It's evolution, baby. Next question.
Okay. Again, my Twitch is having a lot of issues
is it
right
twitching?
now. I'm having some Twitch issues, so
Okay.
I'm not able to clear from the log. So, and I've also under the influence of the Kraken, so it's not helping. So if I end up rereading a question and then all of a sudden going, oh wait a minute, I've read this already.
Yeah, we've already told you.
Please bear with me.
Okay.
The next question is from the Meridian Soldier.
What up, Meridian Soldier?
Yo, Paul. Not a question, but once again, I am simply offering up my thanks to all of you for everything you've done, and I look forward to 10 more years of content.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Paul. Really appreciate that, dude. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question is from Macrophage.
What a macrophage!
Did you ever review The Relic? If not, do you think you'd want to?
Yes.
Yes.
I think we have.
I know for a fact that I have spliced in footage of The Relic in at least 10 film reviews.
Because we did it, I believe, at the same time as Mimic.
No, we did Mimic, and we were like, we should do Relic because like
Tom Sizemore.
I think we actually put a footage of The Relic in the Mimic review.
And I think we also may have put in some of The Relic into Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Because he's in that as well.
Yeah.
Possibly Heat too, because he's in that too. No, it's definitely. Oh, I'd love to do
we've definitely spliced footage of that film in several times.
I don't understand how that creature works.
No.
Like he eats the eggs and then he turns into the creature and comes around and starts eating people's brains.
Don't know what's happening.
You don't really get to see it properly until the end, and then it's a CGI mess. It's gory.
I think it's a really cool creature that it eats the certain part of the brain.
Part of the brain, yeah. Do you know what's really kind of funny?
And I always remember the museum attack when the soldiers are dropping in and the creature just swallows him whole or swallows his legs and they pull up the top half.
But honestly, if you looked it back now with roasting, like you said, roasting the glasses, you'd be like,
maybe,
I mean, I think something stand up. This is where it gets really difficult because you want to be objective, subjective, whatever. But
I want to do alligator.
But you go with certain,
I want to
certain
fuck
films
alligator.
don't
And alligator
hold
too.
up well.
No, like Chud. Chud sucks dick, man. Chud is such a chud.
But you look at other things like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's somehow just... That's probably the answer to the first question. It is just a film that you go back to and go, actually, this is as good, if not better than I remember.
That's the beauty.
Because it's layer of good children's cartoons / movies designed for all ages. That as you go back as an adult, go, oh,
that's the beauty.
It's got a dirty joke, or it's something for the adults.
Talking about Bob Hoskins, I mean, he did Super Mario Brothers. We've gone from Super Mario Brothers all the way to The Last of Us. This year, we've got a new Super Mario Brothers movie and a fucking Tetris movie, bro. It's like it's fucking magic, Nintendo.
Tetris.
Yeah, man. Any more questions?
Yes, we have a question from Gabriel Jones.
What up, Gabriel?
Have you guys any thoughts of a possible future where media is dominated by AI-generated content?
You can take this one first.
I'll answer. It's not something I thought about until this year.
Yeah.
Where I've been looking at the development and the progress of AI in terms of fact finding, information gathering, and its ability to answer and give and non-robotically. Mainly that you would feel like it was a human giving you answers. The fact that over the last few weeks,
you asshole,
we've seen like deep fakes is a part of it, but that's like AI programming to learn facial features and map them correctly. The fact that AI is generating poetry, it's writing university essays, it's creating artwork, it's literally getting to a state where it's kind of scary.
But when you say it's creating,
it's being asked to do so by a human operator.
There is some,
but the AI
there you go. So the AI is not doing anything unless it's asked. So in
but
fairness,
its ability to do so is what
the fidelity of creation and the originality of creation is so dramatic in jump that you're looking at a dangerous game of how do you put it? They're refusing. Whole art schools and such are at war over this.
It's a tool right now, but
it goes beyond it. You've got people basically who have no real artistic skill.
Since 1984, we've been talking about robots.
So just in the news last week, there are children's books being written by an AI that are being published because websites like Amazon or Waterstones or whatever's host like children's books. They don't differentiate between whether it was written by a person or an AI. And so a person can get an AI to write the book and they publish it under their name, whether it was written by them or an AI or not.
Yeah, but that's
what's happening today.
But that's still like utilising the tool for it. That's like using, in my mind, like using a typewriter instead of actually going out onto theatre and acting
it creates a problem at university
thing.
level where you've got to write an essay in.
And an AI does it for you in a few seconds.
You really demonstrate nothing in your skill set, but that AI's done all the work for you.
That is true, but that's why we still have the examination processes that we have nowadays, where people actually have to sit in a room with other people, and you can't acquire. You can't.
Well, here's the bigger problem.
You can try to, but you will get found out. And we've always wanted to, as a human race, we've always wanted to rely on an AI system to do our work for us. It's since we've climbed out of the fucking cave, we wanted other people to do work for us and us to live off the laurels.
War and yes.
But it will never fully, I don't ever believe it will fully ever propagate, because, like I said, since watching The Terminator, we've been waiting for a Judgment Day.
Have you Googled some AI art, though? Because they can't, they're getting to the point where the ability to tell the difference between...
The weird thing is, I don't need to, because it's not there. Like I said,
it is.
Hold on.
Beautiful.
Hold it. Yeah.
It's stunning.
No, but hold on, hear me out.
And
I'm 40 years old. Right? Like I said, I've been waiting for Skynet or whatever to take over and do its thing so I can sit around like the guy from fucking WALL-E and not have to actually do any fucking work. But you're still telling me that the machine's not actually going to do anything unless I tell it to do it first.
At the moment.
At the moment, because then what we're wanting... What we're wanting... Yeah, it's one step away.
We don't have AI that goes, I want to be a poet.
It's one step away.
It just is. Online.
It's one step away because we haven't bridged the gap between the human mind and the computer mind. And then but then it's still not a robot on its own unless it has its own soul and it's not being controlled. And like I said, I don't want to go too deep with this shit, but we need people wanted data, but data still needed to be turned on. He still needed the emotion chip inside him. He needed still to be kind of coaxed to do whatever. He knew inside him he could do whatever the fuck he wanted and paint any picture and build it all. But he didn't even want to do that. He didn't want to be an AI. He wanted to be human. Which meant he wanted to make mistakes, and he wanted to be a real boy, and he wanted to grow old, and he wanted to do that.
Well, so the AI makes mistakes.
AI.
So I've seen people demonstrate how the art's utilised and how they layer images. They give it a series of images and ideas, dragons. It'll go across the internet.
It's too perfect.
It's not. Perfect. It's kind of wildly. It's interesting because the imperfections inflects a little bit of humanity.
But is it learning from its imperfections?
Oh, it is, yeah.
I think it is, yeah. It absolutely is.
The crazy thing is, admittedly, humans can go in and just go, actually, you might want to tweak that. You might want to tweak that.
Yeah, once it becomes self-aware,
content
it will want to
creation. If it evolves to video creation, you've got some crazy power in play.
Oh, yeah.
At the moment, it's still imagery and some sound manipulation, I believe. But they are looking at trying to move.
And then we've got Terminators.
It's advancing at a rate that it's going to be difficult to control.
It is going to be a great jump in technology, and it's going to be the internet almost all over again, perhaps. But
it probably won't be able to do eyes.
It can't do fingers and teeth. Yeah, we've seen some monstrosities where there's like multi-digits or just like a blurring effect where the AI doesn't quite understand it yet, but give it time. It's so advanced right now.
Like the fly, does it understand flesh?
Yeah. If you see some of the images, it gets wild. They are beautifully shaped.
Yeah, but that's its interpretation. But can it actually replicate it? Like we said, like a Terminator, to the point where it can create itself.
Oh no, we're talking about
we're talking then do Ex Mission, aren't we? Which I still haven't seen yet. It's got Oscar Isaacson.
Next question is from Master of Reality.
What a master!
How did you come up with off-the-shelf name, and were there any other alternate names? We had about 7, I think. We had about 7 names. There was also a couple of variations of off-the-shelf But
I remember that. I think I recall those discussions because
we did consider it kind of like Iain and Gary reviews and things like that. But Off the Shelf came from a friend of ours who went, "Well, why don't you just call it Off the Shelf?" As if, and that the idea developed of just taking the film off the shelf and reviewing
we
it
own
on
hundreds
on
of
a
DVDs
week
and
of week.
Blu-rays.
Yeah, at the time it was taking it off the shelf and putting it on there. You always did it with the videos of taking it off the shelf in the video store and looking on the reading on the back and getting an understanding.
It sounds very retro sounding now, because in the future people will be like, you took films off the shelf, you didn't just we're off the Netflix.
Yeah, we're off the Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, you remember in the early reviews, if there was a copy in the house, it was on this.
It was in display in the background. Yeah.
And I mean, now we can't be bothered to dig around the boxes, but
man, I look back at some of those videotapes. I miss them. I do.
Yeah.
Crying.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, it's been 10 years now or more, so I honestly can't remember what any of the other real variations were.
No.
They were written down on paper, like handwritten notes,
Yeah.
as to what they could be. So yeah, like
yeah, I don't recall.
it's really hard to remember now what any of the other variants were, but I know there was some variation of Off the Shelf, whether it was reviews or whether it was Gary and Ian or just popcorn reviews or film reviews or cut reviews or
That was always the thing as well in the first couple of years.
retro reviews.
It was always Off the Shelf with Gary and Ian, and I remember just thinking, like, people were always talking to Gary, like, "Oh man, you're doing really well with those film reviews." I'm like, "Motherfuckers, there's two names there." You know, like, like I'm helping edit and stuff like that. Yeah, but you trust me, you get it, because I wanted to do it with when we had guests in. I didn't want them to feel left out, but it was so funny when people were just like, "Oh," because obviously it goes Gary and Ian, so we tried out different renditions of Ian and Gary, and I was like, "Yeah, those sound right."
Yeah.
You know, you gotta put it that way.
Somehow alphabetical name order just makes sense.
But yes, we do still use pen and paper. All
That's
of
why
our
you
film
Notepads.
reviews,
why it's
our notes are collected
G-I-A.
with pen and paper.
Alphabetical.
I've said this now as well in the 10-year podcast. I've always considered giving out my old notepads as prizes to
I've got a
shelfers.
stack now
and
of
just
notepads from
here.
all the film reviews. Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I could ever give them away, because every now and
Maybe
again
one
I
day.
take them off and I'll flick through them and like I said, that's when I will look back and I go, man, I was fucking harsh on myself. What the fuck am I talking there?
Yeah, no.
Jesus Christ, I didn't even.
Also, Ian, you might,
know,
in a
like-
way, like the lost episodes of Doctor Who, you might, in a sense, have some of the missing episodes.
That is true. Oh
of notes. Maybe one day we'll give them away. We'll
Wiki
give
is
them as
free for all of
prizes
us.
or something. You know, we'll sign
Hey,
them.
big up the
We'll
Wiki.
sign our notepads and send them on.
I've sponsored Wiki. It's funny, Wikipedia has come from being free to then emailing me saying, "Will you give us money?"
Give us
to keep
money.
going?"
You're
I'm
on here
like,
every
"Motherfucker,
day,
you
Ian."
didn't give me money. You know, I bought their video. I bought
We've
their.
spoiled everything for you, Ian.
I
Now
have the
pay us.
Wikipedia board game, motherfuckers. That's how fucking indebted I am to them.
Nerd.
Next question is from Rio Quinn.
What up, Real Quinn?
Gary, when did you have the idea to create the imaginary character Ian? Who's Ian? I know. I mean,
What's
occasionally I feel these weird prods.
What's in
But-
Ian?
Yeah, he goes by so many names.
Oh, man.
You've seen the intros, right? I can't even keep track of who he thinks he is.
Like,
Some god.
I'd like to be imaginative. Well, fuck motherfuckers. I work too fucking hard not to be fucking real. Suck my
He's
motherfuckers.
forced himself into our reality. How do we stop it?
I create the reality.
How do we send him back?
None of you exist when I go to sleep. You just disappear and come back.
Bloody
A
Scottish.
signed t-shirt for sure. How can I get one? Oh, I totally sign a t-shirt and send it to you. You need to get the t-shirt first.
Next question is from Lone Dragon.
What up, Lone Dragon?
Congrats on 10 years. You guys are great. So good to see Jess again. And I'd like to know what he thought of Violent Night.
Oh, that was I've seen
David
it.
Harbour movie.
Yeah. A very you want a short answer? I'm just building.
No, you do your thing. But this is why sometimes we don't have Jazz in the review.
This is why we have editing.
Well, no, because I do
He's gotta think of his
ponder
answer.
greatly. I am the.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly thought it was a great laugh. Sharp, clean, Die Hard.
I'm like, I like Die Hard, but I thought it was more Die Hard 2.
Yes, because of snow.
Well, no, there's
There's not much snow in the first.
Okay, yeah, there's not. No, I get
the
it.
second one has snow.
But
I'm joking.
I mean, it was like more bigger budget and more crazy kills than just a few little guys like in
Die
the first movie.
Die Hard is very much in the vein of the Tower of Salt movie.
Yeah.
Dread slash
2 is spread across the thing. John Leguizamo was fucking.
But we talked about it before, film escalation, where you go from the smaller to the larger to the larger.
Yeah,
that's the Die Hard trilogy in a nutshell.
That fucking ladder sequence though, where the guy like tries to dodge the trap. And then the thing goes away, and then he jams his jaw on the net, and then he falls back.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Honestly, as a Christmas movie, it's probably up there in my top 20.
Yeah.
I don't like to ever really order anything. I
love the fact that it's getting a sequel, and I think the first one's going to be rewatchable a couple of every Christmas or so.
Yeah. I think classic is gently put. So I don't want to go too far, but I think it's a good film, and it may last the test of time.
Yeah.
Nice. Next question is from Mungo.
What up, Mungo?
Have you seen In Search of Darkness documentaries parts 1, 2, and 3? I recommend them. They are so awesome. It's an exploration of the 80s horror movies through the perspective of actors, directors, producers, and special effects craftspeople who made them and their impact on contemporary cinema. Fist bumps all the way. Yes, I have, Mitch. I've seen all of the In Search of Darkness. There was also an action superhero one. Excuse me, and a sci-fi one too. As a matter of fact, In Search of Darkness actually approached the channel for sponsorship, and I was just like, I'm so busy right now, I can't even fathom trying to think of how we incorporate in this. So I was like, sadly, I'm like, not right now.
Angry Video Game Nerd was in it as well, wasn't he?
He was actually in one of them.
He got into it as well, and we could have got in there, but it was. I think we got introduced. We got advertised to that just before we had the
Lloyd Kaufman
stuff.
So it was like one thing or the other.
Yeah.
And we went for the Lloyd Kaufman thing.
Yeah, while we're trying to also balance everything
more
else.
Personal and more. We got to chat with Lloyd.
Oh yeah, and we got
instead of doing a kind of paid for promotion.
That's crazy as well. We did a fucking Lloyd Kaufman fucking review. We did the film with it as well, and it
Shakespeare shitstorm.
We're like, oh my god, this is gonna hit, and then it doesn't hit the numbers that you think it's gonna hit because.
The
audience nowadays are like, who's Lloyd Kaufman? We don't know who this guy is. Yeah. Where a lot of the toxic, like we haven't done the Toxic Avenger series or many of them.
We've done the first Toxic.
We did the first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
But again, it's so long ago. I mean, that's the problem. Your archive, not a problem, but your archive is quite large, and it does get blurry and like the edges. Because I can't remember every film I've reviewed. There was one with Chakotay.
That was the Night of the Comet.
Yes, Night of the Comet.
Which great 80s movie.
Yeah.
It's not a great 80s movie.
I think Ian laughed when I had to review it for him.
I fucking
and
laughed.
I did go through
I watched it to edit it, and I was like, man, this
it wasn't one I hated, but it is like...
It's bad. It was bad. Not a lot of stuff happened, but I managed to get the points in. Yeah.
Next question. It's from Y2 John.
What up, Y2 John?
Hello.
Are you looking forward to carrying on the Hellraiser playlist with the recent installment now released? We'll get to it, John. We'll get to it. Honestly, it will be refreshing to do the reboot Hellraiser movie after the previous 6 Hellraisers that we had to get through.
Yeah.
We've. I mean,
it might be a travesty.
I definitely think the reboot deserves a sequel as well. I think they opened the Hellgate to a whole new dimension of Cenobites with some interesting characters, a new Pinhead.
Yeah.
And I would like more Clive Barker involvement to maybe delve into his extended Hellraiser universe.
Getting old.
I love Doug Bradley. I love the original 4 Hellraiser movies. So yeah, I'll. It's definitely one that we will do. It's when is the thing.
That's one I do always love to go back to, the first few Hellraiser movies, and Gary sat there going, dude, what are you talking about, the biblical references in this movie series? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're fucking like, this is what it said in the script. He's like, oh, I don't know.
The Garden of Eden.
I don't remember it saying that. It's like...
Yeah, it's like saying there was nothing in Omen that had anything to do with religion.
Religion, yeah.
That's a wrap. God damn it. God damn it. Next question is from Diddy.
What up, Diddy?
What review do you think gained you the most followers?
Oh, well,
I could probably numerically tell you this.
Hard to say, really.
I'd say the horror series definitely started to get us in
Every
a lot
Halloween season was the biggest intake.
People were looking for they were waiting for those movies to come along that they really knew, and that's also the blessing and the curse of our channel. It is
unpredictable though, isn't it?
It's very unpredictable, the weekly stuff, because we never know what we're doing, but people keep coming back because they want to keep seeing what we're doing. October comes along and they know that this whole October is just going to be horror movies, so I can watch all this, and then at least I can go back and watch.
And then they bleed into your other videos.
Yeah. That's what I always kind of think. But yeah,
Well, Gary, I remember I discussed with you years ago. I think about one film or another. You're like, well, we should really do well this week, and then it's like, oh, that didn't do well. But then the film you were like that'll never do well.
Yeah,
and
does well.
Like, Castle Freak, because Castle Freak was surprisingly popular.
Yeah.
But then you had a trip, wasn't it? Was it Cage's? Oh, what was
it's like colour
the bomb disposal expert, The Rock.
Oh yeah,
The Rock. The Rock did surprisingly badly.
Yeah, it was mixed response in the comments. It didn't do as well as I was hoping it would do because it was a big video. It was a long one, an hour-long video. And yeah, it was like we were praising Michael Bay of all people.
I know.
We were praising oh my god,
Sean Connery?
not Sean Connery.
The man we love.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
oh my god,
John Schumacher.
Like great film. I've always enjoyed it, but yeah, it didn't do as well as I thought it would.
But other films that are less or sometimes do well.
Obviously, Terminator 3 is our video that broke 1 million subscribers, but the watch time on that video was lower than most others. So most people have clicked on that video.
Well, not a million
probably looking.
We were a million
viewers. Exactly. Most people have clicked on that video and clicked off way earlier than most other videos. So a lot of people, I think, have clicked on that video thinking it was Terminator 3, free to watch on YouTube, and then realised Ian and myself popped up and went, close. So it's like that video definitely did not bring us new subscribers.
Yeah, but then the numbers start picking and people start going, oh, why is that video so popular? So then they start watching it, and then they start watching back, and I think,
masquerading as an actual movie.
I think it's not. I don't think it's really one movie in itself. I think it's all of the movies once people start to understand the dynamic of the channel.
Yeah, and if they get into it,
and
you
the
obviously
conversation.
have to have a first taste.
And like we've had a guy commenting recently. I'd search for him out, but I can't remember right now. But if he's in the chat, he's fucking awesome because he's been commenting recently. Shouting out how he downloads and records the video reviews. So then when he goes and exercises, he's got something to listen to. So he utilizes it for his thing, and it's just like, yeah, that's what we want. We want people to, we're okay for people to watch it for 5 minutes and then go off and do something, but we know that people will come back and go, I need to finish that and see what other jokes. Like, we put a final clip in every film review since day one, I think.
Almost, probably.
Almost day one.
Yes.
There has been a film clip at the end of every film review after the credits ends that either Gary and I have gone, that's going at the end because it perfectly encapsulates the film and how we feel and stuff like that,
A bookend.
A bookend, so it's always joke. But nobody ever makes it that far.
Well, I know a fair few people do, but
the end
analytically, only 20% of our audience make it to the end of the video.
Yeah.
And that's when we go, maybe we should make them shorter?
Yeah, but
we know that those of you that are here, like now, listening to this late in the podcast too, are those that stay to the end of our videos. And thank you for that.
Any more questions, man?
We got a few. Daydreaming Davey asks, Gary, what's the first meal you're planning to eat on your OnlyFans?
The cream egg incident.
A Cadbury's cream egg.
Playing Elden Ring.
Next question is from Richie.
What up, Richie?
I've been holding on to this question for a special occasion, and 10 years seems special enough. I have picked 6 films for you, and they are Alien, The Terminator, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Child's Play. You have to pick 3, and 3 of those would never have been made. For example, if you pick Alien, that means no Alien Covenant, but also no aliens.
Okay, right. Terminator, Halloween, Alien, Terminator, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play. Okay.
Right, if I'm taking out 3. I'm taking out Halloween.
Oh,
yep, same. I'd take out Halloween.
Friday the 13th.
Same. Child's Play, maybe.
And wait a minute.
That's hard.
And Child's Play because I need my Alien, I need my Terminator, and I need my Freddy. I'm keeping Alien, Terminator,
I think
and Freddy.
Krueger is the best of those in terms of horror. But we are taking the action films and the classic horror.
I think I would keep. Well, I would so I'd be keeping Halloween. So I need to kill something for that. So you know what, Nightmare on Elm Street goes.
Okay.
But that's because I love the second one and everyone gives me such jip for it. And then we go into
I just think Freddy's so much more entertaining than Michael.
No, but John
Whether
Carpenter,
the movie's better or not, Michael's better.
You're losing John Carpenter right at the
true,
start.
but
Like,
Wes Craven.
I'd rather have John Carpenter than Wes Craven. I would lose the Terminator and be keeping Alien because fuck Dark Fate and those fucking drapes. And I would pick Child's Play over Friday the 13th.
Nice, yeah.
Keep Child's Play.
You're keeping Child's Play.
Friday the 13th goes, Freddy goes, and Terminator goes. Ooh, that was harsh.
Yeah.
I mean, the Thing's not in there, which is great.
Freddy versus Jason's gone, but I love Freddy versus
I'm
Jason.
keeping Freddy over Jason because Freddy, Robert Englund.
Yeah, I'm with England.
Great, tough question,
Tough
Richie.
Question, that was good.
It is tough. It is
Love
tough.
it,
There's
love
no good answer.
Love it.
Jay Hines with the next question.
Jay!
Will you be playing Atomic Heart? Yes.
I want to.
No.
Like, yeah.
I might because I've been doing,
Yeah.
but I'm a
Maybe.
massive,
No.
I'm
Yes,
a,
no,
I'm
maybe.
a massive war gamer,
Well, no,
and
I want to, 'cause
they've just released Company of Heroes 3. So,
Ooh, nice.
and I like my strategy games, so that might distract me for the next month or two.
Like, I want to, but honestly, it doesn't grab my attention. Like a game, like a game should. Like a game should grab my attention. Like, but then
Have
saying
you
that,
seen the trailers? It is pretty cool.
It was the fact that they had, is it not Jensen Ackles?
it's Jensen Ackles.
It's Jason Ackles doing the live action
Yeah.
trailer. I was like,
Soldier Boy is live
after
action.
15 years of
Soldier Boy,
Supernatural, after playing Soldier Boy in The Boys,
But I don't know if he's actually the voice character.
I have no idea.
I think it's just.
I just want to smash robots in Soviet Russia.
I look at, you know, the funny thing is I look at Atomic Heart and I get the same drive to play it as I did for Prey. You know, the one where you could turn into the cup, and the aliens turned into cups and shit, and you had to use.
You mean the reboot of Prey?
Oh, I never played the reboot of Prey.
No, it wasn't.
You
Like,
mean
it
the
wasn't
OG
like
Prey where
it
it was
wasn't
the alien ship?
No, it wasn't a remake of that Prey. It was just named Prey, and you'd gone onto a space station.
A reboot.
Yeah, you went onto a space station, and there was a weird alien that could take the form of any
super
object
weird.
around the space station.
A polymorph.
Yeah, it's definitely a polymorph.
It was
and I
a
was
little
like,
bit
oh man,
the thing.
you could turn into a cup and
of.
then bounce into small areas. I was like, man, I really, really want to play that. And the game came out, and I was just like, sweet, and I could have got it, and I didn't play it. And so I look at Atomic Heart, and I'm like, man, I really, really want to play that, and I still don't want to play it. I still haven't played it.
I'm not sure what the moral of that story is, but you're mad.
Yeah. I'll have to send you a link. Right. Next question.
I think we already talked about Matthias asking us when we peaked.
Yes.
So I told you to be careful of my toasted with dipping sauce.
We've already done Atomic
Our
Heart.
1000th follower on Twitch. Thank you, sir.
Nice.
What do you think of Atomic Heart? Not played it yet.
I'll play
It looks awesome in Jensen Ackles. That's the thing.
Want to play it.
Yeah, it'll be a stream, yeah.
Code Dude!
What up, Code Dude?
Good to see Jess again. Do you ever think Off the Shelf Reviews would see its 10th anniversary? And any predictions where Off the Shelf Reviews will be 10 years from now?
I always...
3 50-year-old men sitting in front of you.
I always figured it
We'll
would
be in our 50s.
I always figured it would get to 10 years because once we started...
Thanks, Code Dude.
It became a regular because we were doing it on Saturdays at first, when we were watching the films, and I just knew that it was going to keep going. The only way I ever thought it would ever properly stop is if one of us turned and said, we can't do this no more.
Yeah.
And we worked through COVID, and we've gone through jobs and work, and we've balanced it all out. So prediction wise, and obviously looking into the future, obviously I would love for Off the Shelf Reviews to become our major income, because we need to survive and we need to live on it, and we become the Logan Pauls and the Jess Rogans and all those fucking guys of the new
Cisco and
you said
Ebert.
Jeff Rogan.
Cisco and Ebert of the UK, and we explode and all that kind
You
of
can
stuff.
be the new PewDiePie.
I'd love to be the new PewDiePie. I'd love to be able to walk around Plymouth. And I've actually had it. That's been the coolest fucking shit of Off the Shelf. I've told Gary as well. I've been walking around Plymouth, and somebody's come up to me and gone, "Oh my god, you're you're Ian Buckingham, right? And I'm like, oh fuck, what have I done?
Complete stranger.
Hands against the wall, son.
Seriously, I was in our local Waterstones, and this guy came up. I was with my son, and he was like, "You're Ian Buckingham." I'm thinking, I'm about to kill this guy just to protect Dylan. And then he goes, "I'm a big fan of Off the Shelf Reviews," and I was like, "Holy fucking shit!" You know, it's like with our Shelf Fest as well. You know, I'd love in 10 years. We've always said, wouldn't it be great to do 10 years time live off the shelf reviews, Shelf Fest around the
digital
country.
age isn't going away, and there are scary things like AI on the horizon, sure, but
That'll be our new guest.
Yeah.
An AI reviewer. Fuck you, Ian. I hate you. What do you mean you like this fucking movie?
You'll be both replaced by AIs, and then Gary can just edit.
Yeah. No, it would edit for us.
Oh, that's true.
That would do it. Oh,
Fixes all the problems.
Oh, the AI is just going to do everything for us.
You'll be just like that Twitch streamer who's like, wait, I'm on. What do you mean we got TikToks? AI's decided you needed TikToks. I've taken your funniest moments. Your greatest shames are now on TikTok. And even
Next question is from Ryu Kang.
What a real Kang.
What would you say are films you haven't seen yet but really want to?
oh god,
Man, I've got such a list.
Yeah,
The
there's
Whale
so
was
many.
one on my checklist for
Yeah, I
the
haven't
last 6
seen The
months, which
Whale,
I just got to see. I'm looking forward to Dune Part 2.
I was going to say June Part 2's later.
I haven't even done Dune Part 1, but I need to binge them all together because
Well,
I'm not doing the parts
Go
on
to
their
the
own.
cinema.
Man, yes.
I'm looking forward to
but-
Cocaine
but
Bear.
Fucking, it was
Cocaine
like,
Bear,
just
it was
come
like
out.
3 hours long in the fucking cinema. I'm not going to sit in some other fucking person's fucking ass sweat while watching a movie. I'm going to watch it in my own fucking home. And I'm not watching the first fucking part when I know that it only leads...
I remember these
you wanna
arguments
watch
now.
Dune, you want to watch
This was
Dune
one of
2.
the reasons.
Here comes Dune 2. Bah, boom, I win.
Dude,
That's Dune 2.
Dune and Blade Runner were magnificent in the cinema.
Yeah, I watched Blade Runner in cinema. In the 40... Mate, Dune would be good, but it's not as good
So
as...
was 1914.
The
actually,
Thing was fucking amazing on the big screen.
Yeah, I mean, but
So-
it is films upcoming and there's loads of films.
Or
I
films you
haven't
haven't seen that have long past, you just haven't got to
10
yet.
Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah,
Fucking,
I've seen that.
Great, yeah.
I still haven't. Oh man, there's such a list. I look at stuff when I go on Disney Plus, and I'm like, I
Still need to see.
still need to see that.
Well, yeah, I'm
and just
behind
tick
on a
it
lot
off
of
the
TV
list.
shows at the moment because I haven't watched a few of the ones you've watched. I haven't got through all The Witcher currently. I've still got to get through The Boys last season. I've still got to get through The Last of Us last season. There's movies coming out on... Oh, man, there's so many movies coming out everywhere that it's nightmarish because it keeps
That's
coming out.
why I can't go to cinema constantly. It's
What was
just
the last big... Oh, God, they're bringing out films on... There's films coming out on Netflix that I'm so far behind them. And
fuck
it's just
that.
like,
If a movie comes out on Netflix,
no, but they're getting really high reviews and discussions.
no.
I keep hearing people
No.
talking about them, and they're like, "It's amazing!" Like the new gangster flick from
you had to choose-
Scorsese
what, The Irishman? Yeah, The Irishman.
that came out on Netflix.
That did come out on Netflix.
And I haven't
but that's
seen that
be-
yet.
But that's because no cinema was ever going to play it.
Well, yeah, because it's not Marvel film.
But no, yes,
Um,
yes, but it's not your typical Scorsese. It's not. It's no Goodfellas. It's no Casino. It's a 3-hour historical documentary, and it's fucking amazing. But you can't watch it in the cinema.
I know, but-
I had to watch in 3 parts over a day because I was like, I need to soak all this in.
Well, but we live
Like-
in an age where you've got the more content than we're ever going to keep up with now. So
Yeah, that's
there
and
is
that's
infinite
amazing.
regrets, and I think it's always been the way I always felt about books, but now I
don't-
feel about movies more.
I ain't got no regrets. I've watched The Thing amazing times in every fucking format. I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Fair enough, my friend. I'll always want to watch something over the horizon.
I honestly, because I feel burdened sometimes with my backlog. I literally have folders within folders on my desktop of films that I have yet to watch. And on Twitch, I have a channel redemption thing where viewers, when they save up enough channel points, can request that I watch films. I've got 3 in there as well. So
Wickium.
I don't... No, you know I don't do that.
I know. But you don't
Somebody has to have
you,
morals.
You don't watch them either, so wiki them and then you understand what the fuck's
I
going
do
on.
watch them. I do watch them. And right now, that for me has taken away the burden of me. Because almost any film, I can't think of any films that I want to see that I haven't seen yet. You know, I'm thinking of ones that I'm super hyped for. Like The Whale was the only one that I was super hyped for, and so was Barbarian and The Black Book from last year. There's no films that are out yet, that are already out, that I am like super hyped to see or are immediate right now. But I have about 20 films right now that are in my queue of films to catch up and watch from the last couple of years. So
TV
it's hard to say specifically, though.
TV show-wise, it's only going to be what the hell they do with Rick and Morty.
Oh man,
Voice actor change it, but the actual show that was more of a side gig.
Yeah.
Show is actually Invincible, season 2.
Yeah,
Invincible season 2. I'm quite excited about.
Yeah,
because season 1 was such a good show, and I'm still pissed they've cancelled like Inside Job, which has just been cancelled by Netflix, and that's. I was looking forward to another season of that. So there's a few TV shows I can say, but movie-wise, outside of the ones Gary said, which I pretty much totally agree on, they were the ones I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is nothing else. There's a few on the horizon, I think, in the back of my mind, but none of them are quite in production yet. Like you said,
I think somebody's calling you.
Calling you, Gary. Pick up live. We need you, bro. Who are you, Tony?
Yeah, sorry, Tony.
Sorry, Tony.
Who are you?
We got a question from Mr. Will Guitar right now.
Mr. Will.
Is there any other channel you would do either a podcast or a video review with? Decker Shadow, Grumpy Andrews, Horror House?
All of them.
I know of all the ones you've just mentioned, Mr. Will, I know Decker Shadow.
Yeah.
I would happily do a collaboration with Decker Shadow. Of course, Red Letter Media is the one I would. If they said, Gary, fly over to right now and we'll get you in the best of the worst.
Yeah, well,
I'm snuggling in with Rich Evans.
Well, like we've had massive of invites from loads of people. I mean, I did that.
You
one.
did a
I did that
collaboration
one with Gareth Packman on Video Tasties, who obviously reached out. And Gary and I had always talked about this over and over the years about collaborating with so many people and expanding it and branching out and things like that. But it had to work for everybody. We had to get it to work properly. We had to be able to edit it and structure it and all that kind of stuff. And 80 to 90% of the time, it was people who were just wanting to branch out for themselves. So like, we've never really reached out to other people. Like, we'd love to email Decker Shadow and Oliver Harper.
I have actually had a dialogue with Decker Shadow.
Really?
Because in the early days, I asked Decker how he was dealing with what his procedure was with editing the film reviews and how he bypassed copyright. He sent me some bullet points, which I followed, till I got to the point where I went, fuck this. I'm not re-editing anymore. I'm fighting the copyright system, which I know a lot of film reviewers that are higher on the subscriber polls than us take their videos. So like Angry Joe is one that the moment he gets copyright claim, he removes his video, deletes it, re-edits it, and re-uploads it. And I'm like, Joe, fight it. Fight it.
Yeah.
You are within legal...
But he also has the team to help him do that quick.
But no, because I've watched Angry Joe and he gets confused with the copyright system and doesn't fight it when I'm like, Joe, you should... But he's the one with the millions of subscribers that should fight it instead of deleting it and re-uploading it, because what we used to do.
But then at the same time, maybe he's got that environment that he can do that he's just I'm just gonna keep doing the system.
It doesn't risk his
and
channel.
Like we've considered, like we met John St. John once, the voice of Duke Nukem in our hometown, which was fucking awesome. I asked him what his favorite movie was. He told me it was The Incredibles, and we had this whole dialogue with him about planning of editing with him. But it was a case of, we'd obviously have to save up the money to pay him to watch the film at his home in America, and then we would try to obviously create this video. So that was always the idea as well. It's like, if we did with like Oliver Harper, Decker Shadow, or whoever, wherever they are, we'd have to integrate it like we do with our guests into the show. And it's a back and forth, which unless we're doing it live,
whatever
with them,
collaboration we did, whether it was for their channel, our channel, both channels, our video wouldn't be the same. No, it wouldn't be an off-the-shelf video if we did a collaboration. It would be
the funny thing
weird in between.
But the funny thing is, I think we managed to prove that we could do it when we did Lloyd Kaufman.
Well, I mean, it's a separate thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't use the Lloyd Kaufman interview in the review at all.
No, we didn't. So in a weird way, like, we could do the same thing with, say, Decker Shadow if we wanted to. Sorry, I'm name dropping. I don't even know the guy. I see the videos come up on YouTube, but honestly, I don't watch anybody else. I don't even watch myself. In fucking 10 years. I edit the fuckers, put them up and go next and move on. But For that, I would be
Somebody get me Decker Shadow's agent.
I'd be like, fuck it, why don't we do it? If we can
I
only,
demand a sit down.
if we can only sit down and do it live,
That's like a
say over
Matthews.
Twitch, say over a Zoom call, then we would have to make that work that way, and then we would work it back. But we'd have to talk to him offline first, find out where he stands, find out what film he wants to do. I mean, can you imagine, like we keep bringing it up. You look at all these other famous fucking YouTubers, nobody has done Curse of the fucking Queer Wolf. Nobody
has ever reviewed that.
Nobody has fucking done it. Nobody has done ankle biters. And you could say they didn't want
you've
to,
got a few
but people
gems on your channel.
But people want to see it, so maybe they should contact us and say, Gary, Ian, you guys are fucking awesome. You're honest. I want to collab with you, and I'm willing on having a sit down and be like, okay, Mr. Angry Joe, maybe not be so angry, because motherfucker, I'll show you fucking angry. You're just a fucking red face behind a fucking mustache. I will fucking show you fucking angry. Next question.
You're all you.
Unless I need to refresh my page. I know my Twitch is throwing a wobbly right now, but this may be the last question.
Okie dokie.
What's your favorite creature? Sorry, this is from This Deal's Getting Better.
What up, This Deal's Getting Better?
What's your favorite creature robot design? It's an awesome question. We've been asked this before, but it always changes depending on the mood of the day, you know? Like, one of my favorite creature robot designs is bloody Terminator. The endoskeleton, the T-800 is beautiful. Stan Winston is an absolute rest of soul, an absolute icon for me in the special effects industry, an absolute genius in all, from Pumpkinhead to the T-Rex, just Stan Winston, man. Anything that he's put his hand in is cinematic brilliance. The T-800 being one of the most fantastic robots in cinema, and next to Ed 209 and RoboCop.
I was going to say, if you're going for a kind of the
80s aesthetic of future tech robots, for me still brings me so much joy when I'm looking at a film compared to robots like Chappie. Or
T-1000,
even though I love
the T-1000 stands up to all the sequels.
What was the Terminator in Genesis or Dark Fate?
The
Revenant. I'm just like.
Well, Terminatrix was actually pretty good as well.
If I was
she was again a reworking of the T-1000 to some extent.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just talking about the more clunky, but
you want
more practical, physical designs.
Of flesh and metal.
Yeah, I just think that for me they have much more impact on screen. The fact that they're physically there sometimes, even if it's wonky stop motion.
I will throw it. We talked about it with Riddick, the Necromongers, where they're flesh and metal, and again it comes back to the Cenobites as well to some extent.
The Cenobites are magnificent creatures.
Of
more so Clive Barker's than the reboot versions.
Yes.
But of course, my favourite alien or creature design in film ever, H.R. Geiger's The Xenomorph. The alien.
I was going to say,
it's perfect. It's so strange and so weird. An alien.
But you know what's better?
Cthulhu? It's a Cthulhu-esque.
You know what's better than that? I as soon as you were talking Terminator and stuff, I was thinking what creature, and I almost went with the Thing, but the Thing.
It's formless though. It doesn't have an original form.
I can't really count
beauty
it.
in that.
So I went.
there's horror in that.
And I like Alien, but you know what's always been better is the warrior aliens from Aliens. You know, the ridge head, the way their bodies work. The fact that you see them, like you said, with Terminator, clunkiness.
There was the crocodile alien from Batman.
But they're leaping and leaping. Yeah, the graphic novel, but we're talking movie-wise. When you see that ceiling of aliens, there's only 4 or 5 if you really slow it down. But when you see that, and then you mix it in with the comic books and the games that you're playing, the Alien Queen, like I get that we were supposed to go one way with the Alien story, but here comes James Cameron.
We've actually forgotten
here comes Stan Winston again and goes... here's the Alien Queen, and you're like, oh my god! And now all of a sudden, my mind is I'm a 12-year-old boy trying to create a lore.
The Borg.
The Borg.
A puritanical example of the mixing of those two in such a...
They were something that existed in sci-fi before, but Star Trek TNG refined that image and made
Cybermen in
Doctor Who. But the Borg refined that and distilled it into pure terror before Star Trek would eventually make the Borg
and when you first see them,
the villain of the week. Borg.
But the thing is, when you
Not the
first
villain
see the
anymore.
Borg, they're clunky, fucking practical effects with their giant arms and stuff. Then when you jump into the later seasons, it's all CG. It looks so smooth, so green.
They've got the suits
shields,
much
they've got
better.
but as a Trekkie fan, I've been there since day one. I'm like, I'm loving this. Give me more fucking Borg.
And then you got the movie special where the
aliens.
Queen actually got to be. The movie where she's like, the flesh gets ripped off and she's like the spine is almost like a whipped tail. It's just like, this is just good.
Yeah.
Because it's got that horror elements mixed in. And I think Trek is best when it dances on the edge of horror. It doesn't need to be a horror. It doesn't truly become it. Like, that's why Wrath of Khan with the earworms.
I love Wrath of Khan.
It just nails it, Wrath of Khan. But again, that's slightly off topic. But
We may be reaching the end of our questions here. We've gone over time, but it's to be expected. It's our 10-year anniversary. We only get to do this once.
Yeah.
And with that looks like the end of the questions and the end of this podcast. That feels really sad.
But not the end of Off the Shelf Review.
It's not the end of the channel, though.
We'll be aiming for trying to get back next month, as long as we get the dates right, Gary.
Oh, there is one question. I mean, they didn't use the format that we accept, but there is a question from Waffles Hannibal.
Oh, what a Waffles?
This will be our last question of the podcast, Waffles. Thank you for it, though. Favorite Stallone movie? I'm only answering this because we've just reviewed a Stallone movie. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet.
Favorite Stallone movie? Oh man, there's so many.
Shit.
Rocky 1.
Good.
Favorite
Cool.
Stallone movie.
You know what? I'm caught between Daylight or Copland. I'm going with Copland.
Nice.
Cliffhanger just
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But let's not forget to shout out to his new TV show.
What?
Something else I haven't seen.
Tulsa King.
Tulsa King.
I was so disappointed with this. Is it Samaritan that he did? The superhero one? Because I switched it off. It was so awful, and I love Stallone movies.
And don't forget the one he did with Arnie, the movie that they were both
Escape Plan's pretty good. I like Escape Plan.
I thought you said it was bad. But
it was bad.
Cool, guys, we get these two to review that next week, guys. It'll be awful review. They'll be yelling at each other, blood spitting. But yeah, anyway, Tulsa King's made very good. I'm going to make an effort to watch that soon as well.
I think Demolition Man is great.
I'll tell you after
But Rocky 1, personal story. Love it.
I thought Cliffhanger, but obviously the first Rambo.
Yeah. I mean, that is probably one of his best
it is.
performances.
And
his monologue at the end.
It's just an absolute him acting rather than there being 70% explosions and him going corny one-liners.
Rambo First Blood is often so overlooked when people criticise Stallone's
the whole Rambo
acting.
series is amazing.
Yeah.
2 and 3 are just fun to watch.
It does hold its...
Yeah.
And again, we talked about film series earlier, which don't hold their... Like, the Saw series holds its quality for most of its runtime.
All right, one last question.
I just saw that one come through. It's easy. Don't even do it. Come on.
Last question. It's from Hudson Didn't Die.
What up, Hudson?
Everyone's favourite Bill Paxton movie. Aliens? Aliens!
I'm going to... Just because I enjoyed reviewing it with Garrett. Did we review it? I think we did. Haywire.
Haywire?
He was her father. Gina Carano's father was Paxman. Bill Paxman. God, you need to rewatch that film because I love Haywire.
Did you review it?
I'm thinking of Hardwire. No, we didn't
I don't know.
review it.
It's Hardwire.
Haywire.
I don't
think we reviewed it.
I don't think you've reviewed it because I would have known that Bill Paxton movie, and I don't think you've reviewed it.
Don't tell me when to get to bed.
We've done.
I got to edit this thing before I go to bed.
We've done.
Yeah, you haven't reviewed it. You should watch it.
No, we haven't reviewed it yet. But we've done Frailty. Frailty was amazing. Twister's amazing. He was great in Boxing Helena. He's great in fucking Weird Science.
Near Dark.
It's
Near finger licking good.
Man, that'll be good.
Now you're saying other films I love.
Near Dark. Yeah,
but I just always go back to people punching Ewan McGregor in the face, which was
Titanic, Twister,
punching Ewan McGregor.
Frailty.
He's the bad guy in Haywire.
Oh right.
Gina Carano doesn't know how to
Bill Paxton, man.
Bill Paxton.
Although she's been cancelled, so whatever.
It's game over, man. Game over.
Jess, Ian.
Yes.
We're at the end of the podcast.
We've got to end it, people.
We've got to end it. We've got to end it. 4.5 hours. We've been live streaming for. It's been an absolute blast. Oh my god, 10 years?
10 years.
3 years, or nearly 3 years on Twitch, 10 years on YouTube, 53 podcasts, so many guest appearances, so many film reviews, so many Halloween seasons. Here's to 10 more years. Ian, Jess, thank you guys. Chat.
See you in 10, boys.
Subscribers, Patreons, followers, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so damn much. Cheers.
I'll see you in the next Nick Cage review.
Jess, we'll see you in about 6 years when we get the pandemic that wipes out all cows on the planet or something silly.
No more cows.
Take the chinchillas instead.
We'll get you in for when we finally do the Blade Runner sequel.
Oh god.
or the Shinning.
Or the Shinning.
Well, maybe
Ian, I'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah,
or whatever. Whatever else our patrons have got cooked up for us.
Yeah, got up here.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to podcast 53. Of course, you can find our film reviews on YouTube every Thursday. You can find us on Twitter, on Patreon, and on Discord, and on Twitch. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the last 10 years of Off the Shelf, and here's to 10 more.